I did a test today, a test that comes up about once every year and is very, very difficult, very stressful, and the result depends, or rather, the result depends on your actions and how you say on that you are perceiving things, and the result determines whether, in fact, you may live or die.
What's that, a medical?
No. Hey, Helen, you're looking a delight today. You don't mind me saying that, do you?
Hello.
Oh, thanks, Nick. You look really great yourself.
I can't see you. Can you see him?
No, we're getting a bit of glare from the sunlight.
Oh, poor baby. Well, you could have guessed. I can't see you either.
You look great.
You look like that Kilroy guy. Kilroy was here. Oh, I don't want to get into that conversation again, but you remember the Kilroy was here thing, just peering over the wall?
Yeah.
That's all I can see of you, your eyes and your nose, which look fantastic today.
Thank you.
I can say that, can't I?
So what's this test you've been doing?
It comes around about once a year. Government guidelines say that you should take it once a year, otherwise they'll fine you.
Oh, I know. MOT.
No.
Oh.
They won't actually fine you, but I'm sure that eventually they will. Once they've found out that there's something that you should be taking on a yearly basis and they're not fining you for, they will. Instantly. Oh, by the way, I am not Ian Lee.
Oh, no.
Where's he gone now? Why am I asking you? You only work with him. The faintest idea.
I remember Kent.
Croydon, hello.
Globule.
It's much better when we weren't taking calls, don't you think?
Yeah, best one yet, though.
It is the best one yet, yeah. By far and away.
Yes.
For content and style.
So, are you going to tell us what this test is, or do we have to guess?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, there aren't too many tests that you take once a year that are completely dependent on your perception of what the right answer is, not necessarily the answer itself. There is no right answer. It's what you think the right answer is, and the result of this test may well save your life. It'll certainly make your life easier.
I don't take any tests a year.
Well, you should do.
Oh,
Southfields. Hello, Simon.
Hello, mate. God, how do you know it's me? Well,
I'm psychic. I've been listening to that show on Friday.
well, one of the tests that you have every year is called a sight test. You have to do contact lens check every year now.
Sight test is the right answer.
Yes, only because I had me test done today.
How did you do?
Ah, perfect.
Passed with flying colours. Good man.
Same as usual.
All right, thanks a lot, mate.
No, it's bye, mate.
Yeah, sight test. I always get very nervous with sight tests. In fact, I had one just recently, and I thought this person is a fool who's doing it. They've got no idea what they're doing.
why? Because...
Oh, just everything went wrong. They didn't know how to work the machine, they didn't really peer in my eyes very well, I just had no confidence in them whatsoever, so I thought, well, I'll have another one done, and I'll keep the results from the first one, and I'll compare and contrast the results with the one that I've just taken.
Oh.
And you know what? They were totally different.
Really?
Yeah, both eyes, way off.
Yeah, but that's probably because your eyes have changed in the time...
In 2 weeks.
Oh. You didn't say it was 2 weeks.
Because I haven't had one done in a good long while, and, you know, you scratch your glasses after a while. I wear my glasses for, peering at the TV in the dark. I mean, I don't need them ordinarily, because I've had my eyes lasered. I've told you that story, right?
No.
The lasering eyes story. More pain than you could possibly experience, in your life, and I really mean that, too.
Really? I thought they numb it and stuff.
Well, they do numb it while they're doing it. It's when it heals up afterwards that the pain comes. But I think they do it in a different way now, that it's almost pain-free for the wet wimps that want to do it now.
You had one of
I went through one of the initial procedures.
Hmm.
But I must have told you that story before. I've told it on the air many times, and people are thoroughly freaked out about it.
So what was wrong with your eyes? Short or long-sighted?
I am short-sighted. But just recently I've found that, things that are really close, I have to pull away from me a bit. Like, I'm finding it difficult to read. Hang on a minute. It's like my eyes sort of go cross-eyed now, about 6 inches away.
Don't you feel a bit annoyed that you had the laser eye surgery done, and now your eyes are...
It's minuscule. I hardly ever wear if I go to the theatre, as Bruce Forsyth pronounces it.
Yeah.
And I know that to be true because he sat behind me in a theatre once and did not stop talking all the way through, on and on, and I couldn't believe it. You'd think that Brucey would have known the...
Respected the art.
Exactly. Mind you, it was a load of old rubbish that we were saying, but he sat down and said, "Oh, what a nice theatre."
Huh?
I thought, that's the first time I've ever heard it pronounced that way. But, Brucey must be right, because he spends his whole life in theatres.
Well, he is getting on a bit.
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Well,
your pronunciation goes when you get on a bit, along with your reading ability.
Might do.
Right.
So aren't you annoyed that you had to, you forked out for the laser eye surgery?
No, best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
I really mean that.
But isn't it supposed to last forever?
Well, it does last forever, but, your eyes change in tiny amounts. I mean, you can get your long vision corrected, but you'll eventually, as everyone will, need reading glasses, because that's a different thing entirely.
Right.
But it's just tiny, infinitesimally small. I mean, they don't predict 100%. They don't say that we'll give you 20/20. They just say we'll give you better. And the amount of people, optometrists that I've talked about my eyes, and the amount of times I've heard, yours is the best result we've ever seen.
Oh, they say that to everyone.
Well, why would they say it to everyone?
Well, because it's just to give you a little boost, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, well done.
It's just all part of the service.
Your eyes healed so well.
Yeah, because if
here's a lollipop, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because if someone tells you got, really good eyes, or,
if someone says you look really horny, as Helen was going to say earlier on, if only you could see me, Helen, I won't lie,
I wish I could.
I look fantastic.
For many reasons, I can't see you.
You're just a silhouette.
You need to get your eyes tested, love.
They've been tested.
Have they? How did you do?
I need an operation.
An operation? Really?
Really. It's all very sensitive subject matter.
Well, in order to operate on your eyes now,
both eyes.
They actually go in from behind. You aware of that?
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
No, they go from the side.
They take a pair of scissors and tweezers that are about 3 feet long.
Why is your arms outstretched to about a metre?
Yeah, but about 3 feet.
No, they don't.
Yeah, and they have to go in from behind.
You're trying to scare me.
What's wrong with your eyes, babe?
I don't want to say on air, but I've got a problem, and
we just did.
Operated on.
You just did. You blurted it out.
Because we're talking about eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
were you scared when you had your laser eye surgery?
Paranoid, yes. Worse the second time around, because I knew what was coming. Because they don't do both eyes at the same time in case they screw one eye up, and then because that happens all the time. And interestingly, I don't want to go on and on about this because I've talked at length about this on the air, and everybody who's heard it before is holding their head in their hands, hoping that I'm not going to give you the grisly detail.
Yeah.
Amongst which is when the laser stops firing at your eye, you detect a certain aroma, which is the smoke coming off your burning eyeball.
No.
Ah! Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I love the smell of eyeball in the morning.
Can you get laser eye surgery like top-ups? Because obviously you need a top-up now, don't you?
No, it's my sight is almost perfect. But, as I say, if I go to the theatre and you've paid £10 million for your seat, as, you do if you're just dumb enough to go to a West End show. I got in so much trouble last time I started slacking off West End shows. I mean, if you're lucky enough to get a seat to one of those fantastic productions, then you want to see, because you'll be 3 miles away, and if their faces are blur, just slightly, then you'll feel shortchanged. And short-sighted.
Well, just pay for a closer seat.
Honestly, Ian, Chris, I don't know how Ian puts up with it. Do you, Helen? I mean, day after day after day. No wonder he takes so many holidays. It's just painful, isn't it?
I thought that was quite a good idea.
Like I said, it's an excellent suggestion. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner.
Take it on board.
Yeah, I will. Where were we? Oh, yeah, at the theatre with Bruce Forsyth. And on 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 he went.
Was he going on about the actual performance at the time, or just anything else?
After a while, I just tried to tune it out. Because initially you think, oh, he's famous, I must earwig him to see what he's saying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really very interesting. Not to me, anyway, because he wasn't talking to me or about me.
Aww. For you.
But I was just surprised that he was the one that was making all the, that was talking all the time. But you'd think that Brucey, of all people, somebody who works his entire life in the theatre, would know the etiquette.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's earned his right to have a yap during a theatre performance, isn't he?
You're so contrary.
Go on, he's getting on a bit. Let him have a little natter.
He's earned his right to partay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pearly. Hello, Alex.
Oh, hi, I was just wondering where Ian was.
Yeah. No one knows. He's out. he left with his coat, he slammed the door. We said, where are you going? He said, out. It's 7:50.
I just want to tell you all how happy I am to be back in the studio, making a picture again.
Talking of pictures, the nice lady, puts this thing on your face that looks like some sort of medieval torture device. Excuse me, when you go and get your eyes tested, right?
Is that like the set of glasses?
Yeah. It's like the worst set of glasses you've ever seen. And I wanted to say, oh, are these my new glasses? Or, something along those lines. But she probably hears that 10 times a day. So
yeah.
I stopped myself. Let me see what these people want. Banstead. Hello, Charlotte.
Oh, hi, Nick.
Charlotte.
Hello, how are you?
I am super. Thanks for asking.
That's good. The weather's better, isn't it?
The what?
The weather is better.
Well,
Nicer.
I'm not completely satisfied. Over the weekend it was great. I didn't see a bit of it.
Oh, you're moaning again. You're complaining.
I didn't, because I was working all the time, but today I thought it was a bit on the chilly side for me.
Yeah, you want 100 degrees, don't
100,
you?
yeah.
And over. I just wanted to say, don't you know if you remember last week, you probably don't, we were talking about Staffs.
About what?
The dogs.
Yes.
Staffordshire Bull Terriers.
Yes, we were talking about Staffordshire Bull Terriers.
I just came in and looked at the paper and had time from work.
I'll do that story in a while. I know,
I'll
let me do it, alright.
Oh, do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah. I was going to, I know, I was going to berate people about that, but I'll do it in my own time, alright.
Yeah, I was thinking of getting one.
Yeah, well, that'd be a good idea.
Well, I was, but I'm not now.
You might as well have a landmine as a pet, Charlotte.
Yeah. Well, we was looking at Battersea, and they were saying there were quite nice dogs at Battersea.
Yeah. Well, they're desperate to get rid of them, I would think.
Yeah, we've got about 2,000 there.
No, it doesn't surprise me, no.
And I'm looking for another dog, because my dog had to be put to sleep last year.
Right.
And I'm looking for a dog, to go with my cat.
Well, get a nice little dog, get one that's about as dangerous as a lion.
Shall I get one like Lucy's?
What, one of those silly little needle-teethed balls of vicious yapping fur?
Yes.
No. Don't get a dog that yaps. I mean it.
No. Okay.
All right.
Yes, okay.
Get a Labrador. You can't go wrong with a lab, right?
A Labrador.
Yeah.
Okay, have a good night.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I was going to read this story out. In fact, I will, because you remember last time I was doing this? I can't remember when it was. Last week sometime. It was this show I was banging on about dogs, right? And people were calling up in their droves saying, oh, Staffordshire Bull Terriers, they're as good as gold. There's not a violent bone in their little muscly bodies, they were saying. They're great with kids, they say. Well, they do like kids. In fact, they find them to be delicious.
Oh, yeah.
A toddler is recovering in hospital from, quotes, horrific injuries after being attacked by a dog she apparently tried to stroke in a pub garden. Well, she tried to stroke it. You can imagine how the dog would take offence at that.
Mm-hmm.
A 22-month-old girl was named last night. Well, we don't need to know her name. She was sitting with her parents in the garden of a pub when the animal leapt at her and bit her face. So presumably the animal was not on a lead, nor did it have a muzzle.
Sure.
Right. Now, if you're going to... as I was parked out the back here, some other dopey woman was going by with one of these exact same dogs on the day that this story is plastered all over the papers, not on a lead, just wandering around. The dog was just wandering around, they've got brains the size of a pea. All it needs is just one little synapse to misfire, and then they'll go for you. And even if it is on a lead, there's absolutely nothing that you could do to stop it, right? Because it is stronger and more violent than you are. It fights with its face.
Well, even if you decide to have a dangerous pet, don't take it to a public place.
Well, you'd find it difficult to walk it anywhere else unless you're, Prince Charles and you have to own 1,000 acres.
Yes.
Prince Charles was banging on today about, it's dreadful. Who's that? Bursting in.
Oh.
Boy, could you make a little more noise?
What's the matter?
I like your quiet entrance, Harry.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
She bursts in like she's a part of the rampaging hordes come to take the country.
What were you just talking about?
We were talking about you in your absence.
Okay.
Shh. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Don't have a pet that is bred for fighting. I mean, that just makes sense to me. It's like I said, you might as well just drag a loaded gun around on a piece of string. It might go off and it might not. You've got no idea. The mother said that she and friends had to hold part... Oh, this is this is actually really unpleasant and nasty.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's unpleasant and nasty.
That's what happens.
Had to hold part of the toddler's face together after her lips, nose and cheek were badly torn when the dog was pulled away. Isn't that great? Staffordshire Bull Terriers. Oh, they're lovely.
Oh.
Police officers seized the dog, said to be a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, from its owners. A dog like that shouldn't be allowed in public, said the mother. I was aware that the dog was there. It was quite small and stocky and was sat at the next table. And like I said, just a little switch goes off in its mind, and for no reason whatsoever, it just ruins somebody's life. Oh, but they're lovely, really. These things should be banned. Any animal that's stronger and more vicious than its owner should be banned. Am I right? And if all these people are ringing in to tell me, oh, I've got a staff and he's never done nothing wrong, you can get rid of them right now. I mean it. I won't hear a word not one positive word about these dogs. I am right. Note it down. Let's have Mr. Lister.
Good evening, Nick.
Philip.
How are you?
I'm great, mate.
Right, I've got the latest top 25 list from the USA Today.
Oh, God.
Yes. it's the top 25 Olympic moments. And what is surprising, Nick, 4 of them involve people in the UK.
Really?
Yeah. Which I was surprised. I picked out 1 or 2 that, of interest, but I won't go through the whole lot.
Is it? Well, okay, one of them will be that decathlete, whatever his name, Daley Thompson.
No. You've got to remember, Nick, this is an American paper.
Well, you said that they involved this
Well,
country.
there are 4 people, yes, that's right. No, it's not Daley Thompson.
Because he just won the decathlon or something like that, and then he thought it would be amusing to wear a T-shirt that said, "Is the world's second greatest athlete gay?" Like, what were you thinking there, Daley?
I suppose, if you win, you get euphoria and all that,
What, it went to his head, you mean? He lost his mind momentarily. Yeah, ordinarily he wouldn't have said something quite so stupid.
Number 25 is a living legend in the UK. Can you guess who he is?
Is Henry Cooper still alive?
No.
A living legend?
Yes.
He's not a politician, is he?
No, we're talking about the Olympics.
Yeah, well, there's a bloke who is closely associated with the Olympics, and there's a politician who also used to run and hop and skip and jump.
Oh, yeah, that's right, isn't it? It's Eddie the Eagle.
Oh, okay. I think you can stop right there. I'm not interested in this list anymore.
Oh,
Eddie
all right.
the Eagle?
Yeah, well, you've got to remember it's Olympic moments. And what they've got for number 25, the last-placed eagle flies in the face of laughs. He said he was the best, it says here, the best and only ski jumper Britain has to offer. Finished last in 1988. A plasterer by trade, he turned ignominy into fame through self-deprecation.
Right, well, we have an entire television industry that does that these days. All you have to do is get your boobs out. No, Eddie the Eagle. I find that is actually deeply embarrassing.
It says at the bottom of the list, Nick, if your list differs, they want you to want to know. And I'm sure, so when I finish talking to you, get pencil and paper.
Yeah, I'll pop a little postcard in the mail. Yeah.
Number 22 is the Mary Decker Britain's Zola Budd collision.
Well, when she took her shoe off or something.
No, they collided in the 1984 3,000 metres final, leaving with a hip muscle, unable to get up and finish the race.
Zola Budd used to run shoeless, didn't she?
Yeah, she...
Poor little thing couldn't afford shoes.
Because she was South African, wasn't she? And she got citizenship pretty quickly.
Yeah, bound to.
Yeah.
Anybody will get citizenship pretty quickly if it looks like they'll win a medal for us.
No.
And I think we'll start scouring the world for any athlete who has even the scintilla of Britishness in their past. Because we have to do better this time, it being on our own soil. And you know what? We really won't.
Have you ever heard of Derek Redmond? I've never heard of him. Britain's Derek Redmond, forced by injury to withdraw from the 1988 Games.
Right, no we don't. Next.
His father ran down from the stands to help him to the finishing line.
Next.
Right, number 17, this one isn't with the UK. They put down here the bombing that rocked Atlanta in 1996.
Right, next.
Right. Torvill and Dean.
Torvill and Dean. Oh, yeah. Now, what did they do? It was, what was the song that they did it with? It was,
oh, dear. Bolero, wasn't it?
Bolero's the right answer. Yeah.
Torvill and Dean earned 6 points in 12 of their 18 marks from the Bolero.
6 points.
They received unanimous perfect scores for an artistic impression and were the first non-Soviet or Russians to win Ice right dancing gold.
And you know what? When I saw that, there was a little tear in my eye as well. I can remember it well.
Do you skate, do you, Nick?
No.
Oh, well. Funny enough, number 5 is the skater. I think we actually mentioned these two the other day. Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding.
Right, well, we don't really know anything about that because it was an American thing, and one had a hammer, you know, like that old song. If I had a hammer, then I might win the Olympics.
Jenny Lopez, number 1, I go to number 1.
Oh, blimey, you were really charging through this.
I'm number 2. Let's have number 2.
Like a dream come true, isn't
it? Muhammad Ali, champion from Parkinson's disease, to open the 1996 Games in Atlanta.
No, I tell you what, an opening Olympic moment, probably the most memorable Olympic moment I can remember, was in the Barcelona Games. Just after everyone speechifies and they all march in, and the entire world, billions and billions of people, watched the moment when they lit the flame. Can you remember how they lit the flame in the Barcelona Olympics?
I can't, no.
A man in a wheelchair... had a bow and arrow with him. The arrow was on fire. He, sitting what seemed like miles away from the Olympic flame, took the bow, sitting in his wheelchair. It shot through the, describing an arc of fire through the air, and it landed perfectly in the bowl, setting it alight.
Wow.
That was singly the best Olympic opening ceremony moment ever.
I wish I'd seen that one. Yeah. Next week's one, it sounds really interesting.
Well, what was number 1?
Oh, number 1, I thought you said... Number 1 was a 16-year-old gymnast, Mary Lou Retton. She entered the 1984 Olympics with no major international experience. She became the first American woman or man to win all round after earning perfect 10s for the floor exercises and the vault.
Yeah, I always find that... I always feel like it's a bit... That whole gymnastic thing is a bit cool, really.
Once you've seen one, you've seen them all.
They've been stapled in, like a pretzel into all sorts of weird shapes since they were 5, and I think it's
next week's one is...
really.
Sorry, Nick. Next week's one is 25 memorable celebrity sound bites.
Right, okay, well that might be more interesting.
I think that could be an interesting one.
All right, good job as always, Philip. Thanks
Nick,
a lot, mate.
All the best.
Ta-ta, this is LBC, I'm Nick Abbott, in for Ian Lee, who returns tomorrow night from whatever it is that he's doing.
Look here. London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Do you mind if I say a few words? Thank you.
So we're going through this foot and mouth thing again, and they're blaming what? First of all, they're blaming the lab. I was working in the lab.
The scientists.
Yeah, it's their fault, or it's now they're scrabbling around to find anybody or anything else to blame it on, and now they're saying it's the floods, or maybe it's aliens from outer space. Hey, they just released a lot of X-Files. Did you read about that?
No, what, on DVD?
No. The government has just released a lot of alien sightings, which are normally kept secret.
Oh, did they actually call them the X-Files?
Yeah, they did. Well, no, we do.
Oh, right.
I'll get into that in a minute. But, yeah, so they're going to have to start burning cows upside down again, aren't they?
Yes.
And I've been thinking quite hard about this, because, as you remember, the most upsetting thing about it all was seeing the poor little cow's legs in the air. I mean, let's not get sentimental about cows, because, after all, they are so yummy. He says, as a converted, 20-year-long vegetarian.
You're making up for lost time?
I am. I eat meat almost on an hourly basis now.
Oh, really? You're looking better for it?
Oh, thanks very much.
That's all right.
You can't see me from in there, can you?
Sun's going down now.
Yeah. As is mine.
All right. Huh?
Where were we? Oh, yeah, so I've been thinking long and hard about this, because, as I say, the most upsetting thing was the cow's legs waving in the air. I mean, we didn't mind the giant bonfires.
Yeah, but what else are they going to do with them? You know.
Well, like I said, I have a solution.
Oh, yeah?
You could have a machine, you could rig up some sort of tractor machine that will punch 4 holes in the earth, which you could then insert the cow's legs into, and by that means the fire would be less high, and also you wouldn't be so upset with the cow's legs in the air.
But cows are different shapes and sizes.
Oh, yeah, well, you've got a good point there, yeah. So you're saying it won't work?
Well, unless cows are all got a universal shape, then, yeah, it's not going to work, sorry.
Here's Stansted. Hello, Pat.
Oh, hello there.
Pat.
Going back to dangerous dogs,
Yeah.
I feel very seriously about this because my neighbour was badly attacked by a Rottweiler a couple of years back. I was attacked by my little Jack Russell 4 years ago.
Right, well, the difference between the two is the Rottweiler could have killed you, and the Jack Russell could give you a nasty nip.
Yeah, but the point is with children, all I'm saying is any dog of any breed, of any size, can hurt a child. And the reason they hurt the children's faces is because their faces are so much nearer to the dogs.
Yeah, plus that's what dogs would go for, right?
They go for the face.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I've got my black Labrador here rushing around here wanting to get on the phone. But if we had small children, we have our grandchildren here, or if we had other friends' children here, both the Labradors go in the kitchen behind a gate.
Pat, if only everyone was as sensible as you.
Well, the point is, I think... I've got really good friends, I've got good neighbours who say, oh, but my dog would never hurt anybody.
You mean, what they mean is that it hasn't yet.
It hasn't yet. And I can remember, I've always had Labradors, and many, many, many years ago, had lovely golden Labrador, as gentle as anything, and I turned round and I thought, why is she growling? And this little boy next door, who was about 2, had got his finger up her nostril. I mean, I know we're laughing about
Pat,
it.
I'd growl too.
But yes, and I thought, right, never ever again am I going to let small children be. And anybody that is worried about their dog attacking, or even fighting or attacking, just put a muzzle on.
Unfortunately, Pat, the people who own dogs that do tear the faces off children aren't worried about it.
No,
they don't
think about it. But the other thing is, I mean, also my lovely black one here, she was badly attacked by another dog, but there's no ruling. I mean, she had her neck torn, not her neck torn out, certainly had stitches and a nasty operation on it, but there's no ruling in this country that said there's anything illegal about one dog biting another.
Right. Well, I think that we need to change the law. All dogs out should have a muzzle on. The end. Any dog found without a muzzle should be put down immediately.
Well, not quite like that.
Absolutely.
But the point is, even if I know who the dog was, he's now moved out of the area, but they were asked to put a muzzle on that dog because it attacked 3 other dogs, and there is no ruling that can
compel them to do it. Right, okay, well, then the owners should be put down along with the dogs.
Yeah.
As long as that's not a controversial thing to say. It's
I hope
just
not.
my opinion. Thanks a lot, Pat.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, minute. Ta-da. Yeah, absolutely. If a dog is... it just makes sense, right? If a dog is actually bred for fighting, if that's its reason to be, why have that as a pet? That's insane. Barnet, Mirelle.
Hello, Nick. I had a run-in with one of those horrible pit bull, whatever they are, the other day.
Staffordshire Bull Terriers.
Oh, I don't know what they are. He was off the lead. There wasn't an owner in sight. He had those, those horrible black collars they have with the big studs on?
Yeah.
He had that on. He came tearing up to me. I'm thinking the owner's got to be around. No owner. Growling away. I just walked on. Luckily, he didn't attack me because he'd have torn me to pieces.
Yeah, that's right.
They are so irresponsible, and they're always followed by these puny-looking people that think they look hard, and they look ridiculous.
Well, that's exactly... You've hit the nail right in the head there, Mirelle. That's exactly why they buy them, because they think it makes them look hard.
Oh, it really... And it's a frightening thing, because you don't know where to go. You've got this dog, this really... And he was vicious.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely terrified, and people say, oh, don't show you're scared. You've got this snarling thing in front of you that, every other day they're attacking someone in the paper, and you're meant to, don't show you're scared.
Yeah.
I was absolutely terrified.
I mean it. All dogs should have a muzzle. I don't care what kind of dog they are. Any dog found in public without a muzzle should be put down on the spot.
Well, not put down on the spot, but they should be on the lead. If your dog is... unless you can keep your dog at your side at all times, okay, it should be on a lead. It can be an extended lead, with the really, really long ones.
Yeah.
But not roaming around all over the place, And the other thing I wanted to say as well quickly, Nick, is Charlotte was looking for a dog.
Yeah.
Your face got a butt. She's got a cat, hasn't she? She said she had a cat. Because
right.
a really nice dog, and beautiful pets, a greyhound, ex-racing dogs.
Aren't they a bit skittish?
No, they're lovely. They're lovely, but they don't get on with cats.
I find them a bit painful to look at because they're just so very thin.
They're very thin, but they're very affectionate. They usually have a terrible time because people don't, after they finish racing...
They kill them.
People can't be bothered with them. And they, you know, they are, and they don't need miles and miles and miles of walking that everybody thinks they do.
Or any food.
Oh, no, they do need food. But they're very good with children, but they're not very good with cats.
Yeah, they survive on the same diet as a supermodel, fags and coffee.
Yeah, they've got a very slim build. But they are, if anybody's, like, looking for a pet that, you know, sort of a different type of dog,
right.
think of the racing greyhound.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, Morel.
Thanks, Nick.
Cheers, ta-ra. Greyhound doesn't really appeal to me because it's not much of a dog, is it? I mean, it just is like a bag of bones. If you stroke it too hard, it seems like it might crumble.
It's not something you can really, like, hug.
No, not really, no. It'd be like hugging a skeleton.
I mean, that's the whole point of a pet, isn't it? Something you can just, you know, show your affection to.
Exactly, yeah. And your heart rate goes down and you don't need to go to the doctor and get a lot of pills for your blood pressure.
Exactly.
And they look depressed, don't they?
They look depressed?
Yeah.
Well, you'd look depressed if you were that thin.
True.
Hmm.
They always look down.
Like, in much the same way as supermodels. You show me one picture of Kate Moss where she actually looks happy. She always looks like, I don't know, it's like pouty angry. It's the supermodel look. They all look pouty angry. Get me a magazine right now, Woman's Magazine. You show me one picture of anybody that anyone can recognise of a woman that looks like she's having a good time.
But
None of them do.
You can't pout and smile at the same time, though. Can you?
You can pout and sing at the same time. Sting does that for a living.
Yeah, but he ain't no supermodel.
No, he ain't no supermodel, no. You're absolutely right about that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's actually very true. They all look like they're angry all the time, don't they?
It's because it makes their features look better.
Supermodels, all, yeah, they're like sucking their cheeks in and puffing their lips out. It's the only, their lips, the only part of their body that's actually got any flesh on them.
Hmm.
And if you smile, you get laughter lines.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So they all look angry, like furious, as opposed to page 3 modus, who all look surprised, because they've just seen the gigantic nature of their boobs.
They chose me to be on page 3.
Did they?
No.
When's it out?
Oh.
I love page 3 now. Well, I don't.
Do you?
But, no, I don't. I love what they've done to it now, and I mentioned this on Saturday night, because it used to be, page 3 is like, Bongella, 19, loves ice cream, and wants to marry a footballer. But now it's, Bongella, 19, is very concerned, she says, I'm very concerned about how aircraft are ruining the environment and the ozone hole over Australia. Like she would ever say anything like that.
They do that. They tie it, you know, their comments in with a topical news story.
Yes, ludicrous. Like, that's what's on her mind, as she's just discovered what gigantic boobs she has.
They're just trying to justify her being there.
It does look like a throwback to the 1970s, doesn't it? I mean, this is 2000 and... what is it? Actually, the first thing that I got in my eye test today wrong was my age. I felt quite rude about it, because she asked me what my date of birth was.
Right.
And then the very next question was, how old are you? And I didn't immediately know, and I just sort of looked at her quizzically, because why would you ask the date of birth and then how old you are? Because that's the same question, right?
Yeah.
So I sort of looked at her like, well, and then she worked it out.
Yeah.
Or she tried to work it out, and I told her before she did it, because I'd realised that what I said might be construed as rude.
That's just lazy on her part.
And I got it wrong. I got my own age wrong.
Well... What did you come up with?
What year is it? I often have to look at the top of the newspaper to remember what year it is. It's 2007, right?
Yeah.
In the newspaper that I was reading today, it come to find out that I'm either the same age or he is younger than me. Our breakfast show presenter, Nick Ferrari.
Oh yeah. How old is he?
Well, you're the same age.
According to the thing that I read today, yeah, he states that he is the same age as me.
I can't remember what he said.
Well, he said he's 46,
yeah.
47, something like that.
Oh, right.
He'd be.
Is that his showbiz age?
I am the same age as Jeremy Clarkson, and Jimmy Carr said a funny thing once. He said, and I do mean once, he said, Jeremy Clarkson looks like he's gone from 0 to 60 in 46 years. It's 7:45. Here's Travel Now with Amanda Redman.
Thanks very much. On the...
It's a good idea to get someone else's opinion.
Hackney. Hello, Andy.
Hi, Nick.
Andy.
Want to talk about your bow and arrow man for lighting that torch at the Olympics many moons ago.
Right, the beginning of the Barcelona Olympics. What a spectacle. Huh?
That was a load of old twaddle, what you said.
Really?
I remember quite thinking from the telly. It's even questionable whether he's in a wheelchair, but he actually missed it completely, and they lit the gas, and it lit up.
Well, I saw it over and over, and that's not the way I saw it.
No, I remember it was a big hoo-ha about it on the telly. Because they said, oh, we missed completely, and they just struck the gas. That's exactly how it happened, and I remember that, and I'm going to look on the internet in a little while and double-check it.
All right, Google it. Thanks a lot, Andy.
All right, cheers, bye.
I wish I hadn't heard that now, because I do remember that as being one of the greatest television moments of all time. And he was in a wheelchair, and he did have a burning arrow. And I was convinced forever and a day that the arrow actually went into the lake of oil and started up a burning ring of fire.
See, now he said that, I think it did actually go behind.
Yeah, but it disappeared from view, right enough.
Yeah.
But it was a big bowl. I mean, it was difficult to tell how big that bowl was.
Yeah.
A burning ring of fire.
But the fact that he actually got it up that high anyway...
Oh, I know. Top marks. I mean, can you imagine how nervous that bloke must have been? Billions and literally billions of people were watching you do this thing, and you can only get one go. And really, it's like golf. If you're 2 putts and you're down, don't try and get it in. Just try and get it near the hole, you know, within about a yard radius. And so really all he had to do was to get it near so that it looked like it went in.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was even on a rope, a wire. Because, you know, you've got a billion people watching. It needs to be right, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. He must have practiced and practiced and practiced.
Yeah.
But I thought that was the best way that the Olympic flame has ever been lit. Because any old dope can climb stairs and just stick a torch in there, can't they?
How did they light the last Olympics?
Where was the last Olympics?
Sydney? No.
No. Was it Greece?
Oh,
It
yeah.
was Greece, wasn't
Greece.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was just so hot there that it just spontaneously burst into flame.
Do you think?
The Americans did this whole thing where didn't a cascade of fire come down? It was like this big Hollywood event, and 100 pianists on a raked stage were all playing in unison. It was just the most over-the-top thing you've ever seen in your life. But often the opening ceremony is the best thing about the Olympics. The rest of it, let's face it, can be...
boring!
Oh, running in a straight line. Oh, will the excitement never start? Here is Ealing. Hello, Martin.
Hello there. I'm confirming that arrow indeed missed the lighting up.
Really?
It was made into a documentary. They showed it from different camera angles, and the reason to you or any viewer watching the Olympics, it looks perfect, because when they kept trying it, they found only one angle would show it being a perfect arrow.
Right.
But when you had cameras filming it from outside the stadium, you could see it missed it by ages. It was over to the far side.
Really?
Yeah, so
They made a documentary about it.
Yeah, it was a piece of a documentary, you know, failures in television or something. It was like one of those, you know, you've been framed moments.
Well, that's terrible. Why couldn't they let the guy have his moment of glory instead of rubbing his face in it?
Yeah, but there's so many things that come into account. You know, there's the wind. At that sort of height at the top of the stadium, you're going to get a lot of wind. So even if he measures it for him, who knows what the wind's going to be actually like on the night? Because he doesn't get to practice an arrow before, does he?
No, quite right, yeah.
He only gets the one shot at that one moment.
Well, I'm actually very upset to hear this.
Yeah, they had to find the acute angle where if they filmed him shooting the arrow, it looked perfect from that angle.
Right.
However, later on in this sort of program, they showed another angle and showed how much he missed it by.
Are you sure this wasn't the book depository shooting the Kennedy thing? They showed it from various angles and it couldn't have been one shooter.
No, I actually remember watching the program about how he failed to hit it. They showed other things, but it was one of those things, when you mentioned it, straight away went to mind. It is a memorable moment as far as the Olympics are concerned. Yeah. However, it was memorable because it was missed.
Oh, well, all right. Thanks a lot, mate.
That's all right.
Cheers, ta-da. That's very upsetting. I came in a great mood, and, you know, because I think about that moment a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, in times of trouble, when I'm feeling down.
Ah.
And wherever the rest of that song goes. Hey, aren't you thrilled beyond measure that the chief veterinary
Veterinary.
Veterinary. The clue is in the spelling. The chief veterinary officer is called Debbie Reynolds.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.
Everything about it is... meh. If you think... if your name was Debbie Reynolds, don't you think you'd call yourself Deborah? Just because, how can you take anybody who's called Debbie Reynolds seriously as the chief medical officer? I mean, she's probably fantastic at her job. There's, I would doubt that there's anybody better at what they do for a living than Debbie Reynolds. Can't take a word she says seriously because she's called Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah, but, it doesn't affect her job, I'm sure.
Deborah Reynolds. I mean, if you're chief of anything, you're not Debbie.
You don't know. They probably call her Debs or something. Or D.
That's worse. Deborah, surely. I mean, how can you accord anyone respect who's called Debbie?
Or what about Reynolds? Or
Reynolds? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, they might call her by her surname.
Deborah Reynolds. Ms. D. Reynolds. Not Debbie.
Debs.
Or Debs.
Yeah. I'll leave Debbie alone. What's she done to you?
Nothing, not yet.
Oh.
Well, I haven't eaten one of her exotic burgers yet. In fact, I just came out of the darkness of a 20-year vegetarian binge, eating falafel and tofu and... Exactly. I mean, when I think about it, back at it now, I think, what on earth was I doing? Now... every atom in my being stands up and gives me a round of applause when I stick a slice of ham in my face. I'm loving it. And now, of course, the farmers have been feeding pureed goat's brains to cows, and they're like, well, why wouldn't that work? I mean, cows eat goat's brains, don't they? They're like shrugging their shoulder. I can't understand what went wrong there.
Were they?
These particular ones weren't, but that was the problem with the previous incarnation of this disease, wasn't it? They were feeding mashed up animal parts to cows.
Oh, right.
Now, I don't know much about farming, but the last time I looked, cows eat grass.
Tired of working late at the office?
Abbott.
Well, let's get back to it.
Here is Romford. Hello, James.
Hi, Nick. How you doing, mate?
All right, thanks.
Good to have you on. Nice surprise.
Thank you.
Just on the off chance, as you're on, and I missed you Saturday night because I was out getting drunk.
Yeah.
Nokia N95. Have you managed to plug one yet?
No. Can I ask again? Here, Helen. They were advertising with us. There was probably a giant crate of them backed up to the building, right? I want one. Why can't I have one?
Stop whining. Stop whining. Have they not given you one yet?
No.
Oh. Well. I'm always in desperate bid to suck up to LBC presenters and massage my own ego at the same time.
Right.
Well, I've had my wife, because I was away at the weekend, and there's something to do, I give her these poxy little missions to do that keep her happy, but they're kind of enjoyable. One of them was to, you can sort of go onto the internet and just type in N95 competition, and it'll give you like 30 websites that have got these competitions to win a Nokia N95.
Right.
Well, basically, one of her missions was, I emailed them to her, it's kind of a little thing we do, was win Nick an N95.
What, you instructed your wife to do this?
Yeah.
Is she also your secretary?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Are you a member of Parliament?
I'm a member of my Parliament.
Good.
Where I am the Prime Minister and the Chancellor.
And the
Chief Whip.
Chief Executive. Oh, the Chief Whip, yes. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Yeah.
Yes, of course you can. No, just I don't know. I really, really wanted to win you a Nokia N95, and then I thought it'd be so cool if I just rang up and go, do you want it?
Yeah, I do.
Do you want it?
Yes.
Okay. She hasn't won it yet, obviously, but if she does win one, do you want us to send you it?
Yes,
because I've got one. I'm calling on one now.
Oh, that's nice for you.
Yeah, I thought I'd just drop that in there.
You'll be able to take a peek at it and find out where you are.
Well, you have to pay extra for that, actually. Now, I was telling, me and Clive were talking about this the other day. Although the Nokia N95 is absolutely the dogs, you do have to pay for sort of the little extras, like the GPS is like £7 for 3 months, but well worth it. Well worth it.
I'd rather get lost, I think.
Well, you can do that, but then you can... The best thing I did was when I first got it, and how sad is this, I drove and drove and drove until I was lost, and I'm sure everyone's done this with their sat-nav, and then program your house address in and get home.
Yeah, you're right first time, James. That is sad, yeah.
Yeah, but if we win one, Nick, rest assured, I'm going to give it to you.
Well, I'll hold my breath, James.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Okay, mate, bye.
Cheers, ta-ta. So I'll never see one forever, will I?
Did he just ring up to rub it in?
Yeah, I think he was just rubbing it in, yeah. The thing that I want more than anything else, that I can only dream of owning. Mind you, this is becoming like an advert for that thing, isn't it? On the other hand, it's very thick, and I'll probably best to wait for the next generation, which is much thinner. You know, here's my guess. I've been saying this for a decade. Mobile phones will not have any buttons on them. It'll all be on the screen. That's come to pass. Mobile phones will be as thin as paper, and they'll also be flexible.
What?
Write that down. I bet I'm correct. This is LBC. We'll go away and come back.
Abbott.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
I'm a little confused about the climate for action people. So they're going to go to Heathrow.
Yeah.
And these are the sort of people that Jeremy Clarkson or somebody like that would say knit their own lunch.
Yeah.
You know. What on earth is that racket?
Oh, the paper's being taken out. Hang on, give 1 minute, and it'll be as
quiet as a mouse.
Yes.
Yeah. Good job we have some lively music going on in the background. Liberace's Fat Little Fingers are spread over the keys. Everyone. Now it's quiet.
You were saying?
I can't remember what I was talking about now. Oh yeah, the camp for climate change people. So they're going to go to Heathrow in order to, what, save the world?
Well,
I mean, as though holding up a sign is going to stop people from flying. We can't fly anymore, is their position. Well, I'm sorry, but that's an absolutely ludicrous thing to say. Of course we're going to continue flying. Here is the truth, boys and girls. If our actions thus far have actually damaged the world beyond repair, we are screwed. There's nothing we can do about it. India and China are on our heels, coming up behind us with more people than have screwed the world up in the first place.
So
they all want their flat screen TVs too.
Yeah. So just carry on watching your flat screen TVs. Just enjoy them while it's here.
Yeah. Are you actually going to tell me that people are going to give up all of their gadgets? And you know, your mobile phones. You stick your charger in the wall. Oh, how do you think that electricity gets there? The flat screen TVs take up like 10 times more energy than those televisions the size of a Volkswagen that sit in the corner of your front room. You want to go to the supermarket and back on the bus?
Well, that's the thing.
Of course not. I used to do that. It's an absolute nightmare.
Well, I'm sure a lot of these protesters have mobiles and chargers themselves.
Yeah.
Just because they're not using airplanes doesn't mean that they're not contributing to...
It's kind of ridiculous. It's like, I just don't get it. Do they seriously think that people are going to think, oh yeah, we better not go on a plane now? There's a plane coming in to Heathrow alone, one of 5 airports in London, one at least every minute. Do you think people are just going to, at one, drop their tickets on the floor and decide to take a holiday in Bude?
But, you know, that's the thing. A protest is, you know, a visible thing, really, isn't it? So they want to be out there looking like they're doing something.
But it's pointless.
But they feel like they're, you know, at least it's peace of mind for themselves that they're, you know, they think that they're doing something.
Right. So what you're saying is that if it wasn't that, then it would be something else. In other words, they just want to protest about something, and that happens to be the flavour of the month. And if it was, if it wasn't that, then it would be how dreadful it is that we keep chickens all cooped up, which I think is actually... It actually is dreadful how we keep chickens all cooped up like that. Don't you?
Yeah.
You're saying nothing, Helen.
Am I?
I thought you were looking at me with disapproval.
Oh.
Is that not true?
No.
Okay. Do you have a thought?
Not at the moment,
Oh,
no.
okay. Will you let me know when you do?
I'll try.
Thanks.
Are they actually letting the protesters near the airport or not?
Well, I don't know. It's the British Airways wanted them banned completely, and when I was watching the news about this, the pictures of the protesters were of them cutting holes in the chain link fence around Heathrow or whatever airport they were at, and going and sitting on the runway. Well, what an absolutely absurd thing to do. Of course, you should be hauled away and thrown in jail
That's
for doing
breaking
that.
the law.
Exactly. It's disrupting everybody else's life. I mean, you stand there and wave your little sign around for all, as much as you like, but don't interfere with our business.
No, you don't run on the runway. You could be shot.
Shot?
Well, still, yeah. Airports are, full of armed police at the moment, aren't they? And
quite right too.
You don't want to make a wrong foot anywhere, do you?
There are armed police, and the other thing on the news a little while ago was, and I found this really quite bizarre, that they're going to have more stop and searches of people because we're at risk from terrorists, but they're not profiling. This seems to be a buzzword.
What do you mean?
Well, apparently it means that they're not going to stop people based on whether it's likely that they might be terrorists. They're just going to stop people at random. Because it seems to be, they think that perhaps it's the politically correct thing to do. So some 86-year-old Church of England granny from Henley is just as likely to get stopped as a 24-year-old who's just hopped off the plane from Saudi Arabia. If that's actually true, if that's what they are proposing and carrying out, if that really is the nature of the war on terror, well, we're not serious at all, are we? I mean, that's just, that's laughable. It's so silly.
Well, surely it should just be based on the intelligence.
Yes, and the intelligence is that it's not 86-year-old Church of England grannies from Henley that we're worried about. So there should be profiling. Otherwise, we're not serious about it at all. It's just, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Yeah.
And they're saying it because, why? They don't want to upset people? But it's called the war on terror.
Well, the thing is, that's the thing. People are getting upset by, the people who they do stop and search. But if the intelligence leads the police to think that
they're a certain
they're
type
a suspect,
of person, exactly,
then
then it just makes sense.
It does.
Yes. I can't believe you're actually agreeing with me on something. And you think we should maybe put a call into MI6 and MI5 and maybe Scotland Yard to actually tell them that what they're saying is it might not be helping. Have they not thought this through? Are they really doing that because it's the politically correct thing to do? I mean, I am actually staggered. Like, I could not believe what I was hearing.
Well, surely that just wastes time.
Completely. What a ridiculous waste of resources. Yeah.
Of resources and the little old lady's time.
Yeah, poor old dear.
Yeah.
Here is Wallington. Hello, Joan.
Hello, Nick.
Joan.
Have they thought about what's going to happen to our tourist industry if we're not supposed to travel on planes?
If plane travel stops now, well, you can just...
I mean, the EU has designated us as a tourist industry country. That's our main industry. That's what they allow us. So what happens if we stop flying?
I think our main industry is shifting money from one place to the next. We don't actually make anything in this country anymore. We just facilitate financial gain by
well, I thought
trickery.
I thought even that was going somewhere else.
Is it?
Well, I heard that it wasn't quite the centre as it was.
Well, you quite possibly could be right. Yeah, I'm sure that Germany would like to get some of that trade.
Yeah, I think so.
But yes, you're correct. We are very much dependent on tourism in this country. It brings untold billions of pounds in.
I mean, all the towns, all the cities have been turned into tourist areas. Everywhere we go, it's a tourist area. And you've got the tourist prices for everything. Things you used to go to, couple of pounds, take kids. Now, what? It's £20.
Well, like that, like Blackpool Pleasure Beach, for instance, where that bloke is spending his, 10th day on that roller coaster.
Oh, really?
Why?
I'm sorry about him.
Why would he do that? Why would anybody above the age of 12 think that was a good idea? What on earth is he thinking of? I mean, apart from anything else, it would be dull on a stick. I mean, it looks good. I've been on that, have you been on that thing, Joan?
No, what thing? I know if it's in Blackpool, I haven't been on it.
Oh, I see.
But maybe I've been on it somewhere else.
No, because it's in Blackpool. Well, a roller coaster. You've been on a roller coaster?
Yes. Yeah, I have been on a roller coaster. But I'll tell you what the most scary thing was that I've ever been on. And that was, it was like 2 little airplanes on the end of a stick.
Huh?
Yeah. You had the centre axle or whatever. And you had one little cabin on each end of it, and it goes straight up in the air and then comes straight down to the ground again.
Were you in first or coach?
First in coach?
So how was the flight, Joan?
Oh, it wasn't a flight. This is just a little cabin thing on the end of a big arm.
Did they serve snacks?
And, well, you wouldn't have wanted a snack because your money fell out of your pockets as you came down. And it was very, very scary because you're aiming straight for the ground.
Right. Did you buy anything from the duty-free trolley?
No, I never do. See, I don't like
No,
that.
me either. Why would you want to shop on a plane?
I mean,
What's that
I
about?
I remember the time when my mother used to smoke years ago, and she used to say to people, when you come back, bring me some duty-free cigarettes.
Yeah.
And
That I can understand.
And when they came back, she said, these aren't the same.
The same?
They said, these are not the same as the ordinary cigarettes that you buy in the town.
Huh.
She said, they're definitely different. They're different quality.
Oh, probably some foreign muck, Joan. It's probably rolled up bits of old carpet.
They were supposed to be the same, but just duty-free. So she used to swear that they were not as good.
Right.
So, maybe some of the time when you think... Once I looked very carefully. I was actually doing a little job for one of these firms, and you had to, as part of the journey, you had to go in the duty-free shop. And I did look very, very carefully at everything to see what was worth buying, what wasn't. Quite frankly, there were only a couple of things that I felt were really cheaper than I could get in the supermarket.
Yeah, there's nothing that's cheaper there. But I do raid the duty-free shop. I don't know whether you're allowed to take booze on board. I guess you must be, because otherwise the duty-free shops would have to close up, wouldn't they?
I don't know.
Because I always take a couple of bottles of fizz with me, so I can get drunk as soon as I arrive at the hotel, and thereby avoid...
avoid what?
Room service prices. I call down and say, can I have a bucket of ice and 2 glasses?
Oh, I think I'm very lucky I don't drink much.
I never get to go to the same hotel twice. They just mark me off their list.
They wouldn't like it.
No.
I was going to ask you something, though.
What?
Well, you were talking about mobile phones and what you think the future will be.
Yeah.
Well, I really am longing for the day they invent a mobile phone that you wear on your wrist, like a watch.
You wear on your wrist?
Yeah. So it's always with you. If it rings, all you have to do is you lift your arm. You don't have to find your handbag and sort it out and all that stuff. It'd be on your wrist, and you just talk into your wrist.
Like a CIA agent?
Oh, they've probably done that already, haven't they?
Well, I think it's a different thing. It's not a mobile phone. It's instructions
But
that...
wouldn't it be nice
there's a
that
man
you didn't have to carry that separate thing around with you?
There's a man lurking behind a grassy knoll.
No, oh, yes.
Yes, no, I think you've got something there, Joan.
Is it better than yours or not?
Absolutely. But you come up with the ideas, you patent it and make it work, and by this time next year, we'll be millionaires.
All
okay.
right, then.
We'll split it 70-30. You're worth 30. Thanks, Joan.
Thank you.
Ta-da. 8:15. Let's travel now with Will Gowing.
Thank you very much. If you're heading on to the most...
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Everything is going extremely well.
It's an hour and 20 in, and I still haven't finished the thing that I started with an hour and 20 minutes ago.
What was that?
My eye test.
Oh, how'd it go?
Well, I think I passed. Mind you, everybody passes any test that they sit now. There was something in the ads there that said that the A-level passes are about to come out. Are the A-level results about to come out?
Shortly. I think, haven't the GCSE ones already come out?
I don't know. Everyone got an A. Do you know why I know that?
Go on then.
Everyone got an A.
How?
So that the government can say that under our munificent leadership, everyone gets an A. Children are much brighter than they ever were, and it's all because of us, they'll say. Come to find out, and I still haven't finished that eye test thing, I'll get to it eventually. Come to find out, what everybody's been thinking, and what I've been saying all along, is absolutely correct, sir. You want to write down everything that I say on this show, because it's just astonishing how right I can be about everything all of the time, don't you think?
I'm running out of paper.
The examination system was embroiled in a fresh row over dumbing down last night after claims that A-levels are easier than they were 20 years ago. And you'd think that this would have been solved and put to bed by now. I mean, everybody thinks that that's true. It's just that the government keeps saying, oh, no, it's not. Which is their pat response to absolutely everything that gets thrown at them. Oh, no, it's not. And here are the statistics to prove it, they'll say. Academics said pupils... This is actually shocking. You ready for this?
Go for it.
Pupils capable of getting a C in exams 2 decades ago can now expect an A. Unless you're taking maths, in which case pupils that would have got a D 2 decades ago are now getting an A.
Okay.
Isn't that incredible?
It's good though, isn't it?
No, it's not good.
Well, it means everyone's improved.
Come on, are you listening to this show? It doesn't mean that everyone has improved. It means that if you are smart enough now to get a D if you'd sat the exam 20 years ago, you are now smart enough to get an A. In other words, a D then equals an A now.
What, are they using the same questions then?
No, not the same questions, but they're saying it was some kind of complicated thing that they worked out, that basically the knowledge of the subject now, which would get you a D, and that's a fail, right?
Yeah.
Anything under a C is a fail, which would have failed you in your chosen topic.
Yeah.
Will get you an A now, same extent of ability.
Well, that's the thing. I don't understand how they can say it's getting easier or it's getting harder, because the questions are completely different.
Well, no,
and it's been changing for the last 20 years anyway.
Well, not really. I mean, maths hasn't changed that much in 20 years, has it? Neither has history or geography or any of these core subjects.
So, therefore, okay, if they haven't really changed, surely it is just kids getting brighter.
No, it isn't. It's the exams getting easier and them doling out A's like sweets. Basically, you show up, you get an A. Unless you're so irredeemably thick that you can't write your own name, which is also a possibility these days.
So who's actually annoyed that everyone's getting an A then?
Well, you know what? The children should be annoyed, because it's not their fault. It's the system that's letting them down. And employers are annoyed. And they say this with regularity. The institute directors keep banging on about, we've got no idea how to differentiate between applicants for jobs anymore, because if everyone gets an A, how can you tell who's bright and who's not? The brightest person in the school will get an A. The person who should actually be failed, they're so unintelligent or have such a small aptitude for their subject, those people also get an A. So how could you differentiate between them? You can't. This is what universities are starting to have their own entrance exams, because they're just getting a blizzard of people who all look like they're geniuses on paper, but actually can barely read or write, but they get an A.
But the thing is, what sort of jobs actually recruit people based on their, like...
Every single one.
Their GCSE results.
Every one, because you have no way of differentiating who is the best and worst applicant if they've got no experience yet. So that's the only way of telling who might be best at the job.
I think employers don't do it based on their results at all. I think employers do it based on what they see in the interview.
Yeah, but to get to the interview, you have to wade through 1,000 people. Now, you're not going to interview all those 1,000, are you? You're going to have to bin 90%. And you do that by exam results.
Not by the results. They do it by their, like, you know, their statement, whatever, their personal statement, what they've written about themselves, what they think about the job they're applying for. I don't think they base it on their
Well, then what's the point of taking exams, then?
Exactly.
Well, that's a silly thing to say.
No.
The point of taking exams should demonstrate your ability to problem solve and recall and, you know, do all these other things that business people and universities particularly would demand. And if everyone gets the same, it's almost like we don't want to discriminate against anybody based on their intelligence, so everyone gets a prize. In much the same way that they've cancelled school day in case anybody might lose a race. Everyone gets a sticky toffee at the end, and everyone gets patted on the head at the end, and everyone is equal. Well, you know what? Everyone is not equal. And you have to differentiate in some way, and exams are the best way of doing it until you've got a body of work behind you. There's no way of getting around it. I'm right.
I'm not convinced. No, because, you know, everyone does these A-levels and well, not everyone, but everyone does these exams, either GCSEs or A-levels or both, and get their results, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's doing that, but what makes that person better for that job, and this person better for this job, it's more to do with, what their interview style is like and all that.
Yeah. I refer you back to my answer I gave some moments ago. But it's particularly important with universities, because the other government thing that they're insisting upon, just so they can say that, look how many people are going to university under our leadership, is that everyone goes to university and they end up studying things like, I'm doing a degree in Coronation Street, there's all these ridiculous subjects like PE and media studies, and everybody and their dog's doing media studies. Why? Because it's easy. No one wants to do physics anymore because it's hard. We've got a nation of people with media studies qualifications, and nobody can actually do anything anymore, which means that any advances in technology of whatever stripe are going to come from another country, which means that we are contributing to our own demise. We are committing societal suicide in that and many other respects.
The physics people surely have to make physics sexy.
Physics is not sexy. Physics is hard work, and it's boring.
Well, yeah, but if you make it sexy, then people will go into it rather than going into the media.
Yeah.
Well, once again, you're saying that it should be fun. It's not fun. It's work.
It might be fun, but we don't know because we're not physics people.
Yeah. But neither is anybody else these days. And the reason, and even if you do have a knack for physics, you'll find out that your physics department has been closed down because the school finds it more difficult to get A results in physics than it does in letter writing or jumper knitting or PE or any of these daft subjects that it does. So it concentrates. It's the same with any government target. It's been the same every time a government sets a target. It's the same in the NHS and it's the same in schools. You tell an organisation, your money next year depends on you coming up with these results. You must have more A's than you did last year, the government says, so that it can then go to the people and say, look at what we've done to the education, we're doing fantastic. Vote for us again. The result is that because it's run by people...
Yeah.
Unfortunately, everything is, until we can perfect robots, everything is run by people. And so, they'll just find the easiest way out. And so schools, presented with this instruction that you must get so many A's, will just make all of their children do easier subjects that they'll more readily get A's in, which is why we haven't got anybody doing any hard subjects anymore. And that's unfortunately true, in much the same way as the NHS, when they're told that you must sift people through accident and emergency within the hour, and I've heard this from a doctor, and I know it's true, will say after the hour, at 59 minutes, they'll push you into a corridor, so you're not in A&E anymore, and they'll tick their little box, and that's another success. It doesn't actually solve a problem, it just makes them think harder on how to get around the rules. But they always have the opposite effect to that which was intended.
But it's not the schools that are doing that, is it?
Yes, it is, the schools that are doing that.
It's the board that sets the exam papers. Surely if they want, why don't they make, like, media studies exams harder than physics, or
well, what would be the point of that? Who needs media studies people, Louise?
Hey, I've got an interest in it, though. There's a difference, I think.
It's an exam in watching television. It's absolutely pointless.
I'm filming things and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, things and stuff.
Yeah. The problem with that is, when I applied for university, I had to do a monologue.
A monologue?
Yeah. I had to have, an interview, and they were asking me what I did. And when I'd been accepted, I said, how can you do that? And they said, well, it's hard to tell if people actually want to do it, and it's hard to tell if they're intelligent or not, basically.
Right. And what did you pass with?
You what, sorry? What? Oh, from university.
Yeah, what did you get?
I got 6 A's.
6 A's?
Yeah.
I rest my face.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I've got to go because the news is on the way. All right. Thanks, Louise.
Thanks.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
We are gathered here today. London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
I enjoy working with people.
Okay, so now I was paying close attention to that news broadcast, and we come to find out that the guy who's been on a roller coaster in Blackpool, and I've been on that roller coaster. Have you been on that roller coaster?
No.
Do you like roller coasters?
No. I couldn't go on that for 10 minutes.
Well, 10 minutes would be over the top. The thing's over in 90 seconds.
Well, he's been on it for nearly 10 days.
What an idiot. Why would you do that? I'm mystified. I would like to have an in-depth conversation with him if he ever gets off that thing, as to what propelled him to do that, and why on the Pepsi Big Macs, without mention any brands, other sticky soft drinks are available.
Have you been on that ride?
I have.
What's it like?
The scariest thing about that ride is the queuing, because you're queuing with all these people who have this air of petrification about them. Literally and figuratively, in that they can barely move as they shuffle along to what seems like their certain death, because you're hearing the screams of the people that are on the thing, and it looks so very high. And when you get on it, it's like it just goes around and up and down. The worst thing about the actual ride itself, as always, is the slow climb to the top, the tension. Oh no, what's going to happen? And then when it actually starts and you just go over the lip and then you go down and it's not no big deal really.
How many seconds does it take to go over the dip and down?
I would imagine that the whole thing would be over in 90 seconds or a minute, or a minute. It's probably a minute at most.
And how long have you queued?
Hours. Hour upon endless, soul-destroying hour. And then you get off and you think, oh, is that it? Well, at least you can tick it off your list and say you've done it. Which much of those things are. You know, you tick off Nemesis and these ridiculous names that they give these things. You know, they're safe to they're more safe than the car ride that took you to the thing in the first place, but they're called instant death and things like that.
I wonder how he went to the toilet.
I wish you hadn't said that.
Do you think he's wearing a nappy?
I wish you hadn't said that.
But it's for 10 days.
Yeah. Now, is this a Guinness World Book of Records thing? Because they have all these sort of rules that you can have a nap for 5 minutes every hour, and you don't have to continually do it because you might die. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not 10 days continuously, is it?
No.
That would be 55 minutes continuously.
That would be cheating.
Over and over again, yeah. So I'm very unimpressed on many and various different levels. He's 48.
What?
A 48-year-old. I mean, if you were 18, I could sort of understand it.
He's
if you
your
were
generation.
I swear, my generation, I'm just... what a shower we are. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yeah. What are we talking about?
But 48, I mean, really, what is he thinking of? What are the owners thinking of, letting him go over and... I hope he paid for each individual ride. Actually, it's one of those things that you pay when you go in. Maybe the bar had just closed on his knees and he can't get out.
What happened?
Oh, no, you were out making tea. Oh, we were talking about you in your absence.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Good things?
No, not one single one, no. Unfortunately not.
Oh.
Let me just check. No.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen an alien?
No.
If you have seen a large black square in the sky, a giant flying scooter, or even an alien outside your kitchen window, you are not alone. Such sightings are among those reported in good faith to the Ministry of Defence. I wouldn't have any idea how to get hold of the Ministry of Defence, apart from anything else. I mean, would you call them, ask for direct inquiries? Excuse me, I've just seen an alien outside my window. Can you put me through the Ministry of Defence?
That wouldn't be my first port of call. That would be the police, if anything else, wouldn't it?
Well, the cutlery drawer would be my first port of call. Such sightings are among those reported... Oh, I said that. Details emerged after the Ministry of Defence decided to publish witness reports of the unidentified objects seen in our skies and occasionally in our gardens, following a large number of requests under the Freedom of Information Act. Oh, come on, people. That's hardly the most important thing that's facing us right now. People are desperate to find out if people have been probed in deepest, darkest Surrey.
Yeah, but it's fascinating, isn't it?
fascinating. I don't know. I've kind of gone off the X-Files as a TV program. I mean,
well, that's not a documentary, is it?
Well, I know, but that's more interesting than someone in Surrey who's been twitching their curtain windows at something with 3 eyes,
but
staring out from their garden.
The release of these X-Files, doesn't it? Do they actually investigate them as well?
I don't know. Let's read on. The alien peering through the kitchen window was spotted by a couple in Hastings. Oh, it's probably an excess of cough mixture, something like that. Another witness reported hearing a massive bang above Stamford Hill in North London. Oh, it was probably someone shooting someone else for perceived slight. Sunderland had a silver pyramid which rotated at low speed, and a mothership with 2 smaller orbs flying above Barlaston in Staffordshire was spotted twice in 5 days. Huh. I'm suspicious about this. Okay, they released all this information. You know that despite this comically named Freedom of Information Act, the last thing that our rulers and masters want to release is information of any stripe.
But I don't get why this type of information is top secret in the first place.
Yeah, well, they're just obsessed with secrecy. I mean, we're one of the most obsessively secretive nations on Earth.
Is it because, I know, when aliens do come here, they want to be the first to know? Is that it?
Aliens are not coming here.
They will. Not in our lifetime, but they will.
Well, how do you know?
Well, they could do, actually. How do you know?
I'm just suspicious that they've released this. I mean, it must be releasing this to deflect our attention to something else suspicious that's going on, don't you think? I mean, releasing information on a good day, that seems to be the way of the world now. And so that anything that comes our way, any snippet of gen that comes our way that you think, I would guess that it's usually to cover up some larger thing that they've also been forced to release, that they'd rather our eyes were elsewhere. So root around behind this story, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure there's something even worse that they've just been forced to release. Robert Rosamond. Hey, Rosamond. Oh no, it's Roswell, wasn't it?
Close.
Chairman of the British UFO Research Association said, "These files give an exciting insight into unexplained phenomena. Most interesting is anything that is structured or has an unusual shape. Around 98% of cases can be explained. The remaining 2% keep us fascinated."
You're not convinced, are you?
Well, not really, no. I mean, they can be, either they can all be explained as weather balloons or optical illusions or you were drunk, or they can't. I mean, not 2%. So the 2% are what? Actual aliens. I thought Tom Cruise had done for them.
Well, that's... yeah, 2%. That's what they're kind of saying, isn't it?
On February the 10th, at 7:20 p.m. in Marlborough in Wiltshire, a flashing ball, changing colour from red, orange, green and blue, hovered for 30 minutes.
Was it a police car going through a set of traffic lights?
On March the 19th at 6:35 p.m, a bright disc hung over Newquay in Cornwall. It quivered rather than moved, then vanished. Newquay, isn't that where all those posh kids go and get stoned on the beach? That's probably what it was.
Well, it's a load of beaches where people play frisbee.
May the 16th, 7:41 p.m, 2 witnesses thought they saw an alien outside their kitchen window.
It's the local weirdo.
Yeah.
Oh, in Hastings. Oh, well, I should have seen Hastings, of course, notorious for it. July the 18th, 4:15 p.m, Stevenage, Hertfordshire, an oblong shape described as looking a bit like a scooter. Oh, come on. A scooter? Well, for a start, scooters aren't oblong, are they? I think that we just heard an alien interrupting our signal there. Did you hear that whine? That high-pitched whine?
Oh, yeah, because if they existed, they would come here first.
On September the 22nd at 8 p.m. in Essex, hundreds of glowing lights moving in rows of 3 in line formation were spotted. Now, you'd think that if hundreds of lights were flying across the sky, more than one person would have seen them, don't you think?
Yeah.
And if aliens were coming down, don't you think that they would make their presence known more...
widely?
Dramatic? Yeah, exactly.
I know,
Why is it some yokel local out in this in the sticks of nowhere.
And they always pick on someone who always believes in aliens.
Oh, they're probably just drunk on cow fumes. Because they're not only burning a hole in the atmosphere, but you can also get drunk on them. So I hear.
Well, that's the thing, that all these sightings always seem to be in like little remote places.
Yeah, exactly.
But surely, have you ever seen a picture of like, well, you know, parts of the world at night, and you see all the lights lit up, you know, the towns and the cities?
I had a close experience of my own.
What?
I was out at Richard Branson's place, like you do.
Oh, yeah.
And
is this true?
Yeah, it is true.
Right.
Yeah, he, unbelievably, I couldn't quite get my head around it, but he throws a garden party over at his place for, you know, people who work in his business. And he just throws his house open. You just wander through, just take stuff from the kitchen, he just puts like a pile of cushions around it, and you just treat it like your own. If I was Richard Branson, I'd have guard dogs and electrified fence around my place. I was shocked. But anyway, he throws on all of this thing, and McDonald's did an outside catering thing. That was just one of the things that you could eat. That's how big it was. Huge.
Wow.
But then, you know, he's got the cash to splash. And after a while, I wandered off into one of the fields that surround his house, because I think he owns most of England. And we just lay on the ground, and out there, in the back end of nowhere, there are no lights to diminish the luminescence of the sky. And so, I swear, I saw more... And I didn't think that they were actually shooting stars, because I was convinced that some of them were stopping, and then going off in other directions. And shooting stars don't do that often, do they?
Had you had anything to drink that night?
A little bit. But I was still, you know, I wasn't paralytic. I was lying down at the time, and I was with other people. And we were thinking, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. And they did seem to be... They weren't planes, because they were going too quickly, and but they would shoot across the sky, and then zip off at an angle. Now, celestial bodies don't do that, do they? No, they don't. And we were all quite convinced that we'd seen something that we'd never seen before, that perhaps had not been... If only we'd had our mobile phones with us, we'd have got straight on the line to the Ministry of Defence.
Speed dial 1.
And when we got back to the party, in our absence, they'd blown up a balloon in the shape of a flying saucer.
Oh, is that what you were seeing before?
No.
Oh.
They just provided this extra entertainment on. You know, you get in the balloon, you go up, tethered with a rope, and we'll fly you up. But they were just blowing up as we got there. So the inside was lit from the flame that they were blowing up with, and the outsides had lights all around. And there was only one word for it.
Groovy. So, you just put a flying saucer up in the air?
I thought that the two, in conjunction, were spooky. You, obviously, aren't remotely interested. I don't know why I bothered.
So, his place isn't anywhere near Newquay, is it?
Not even close, no.
Okay.
Although he probably does own Newquay as well. I could go with a couple of pints of Newquay Brown right now. What do you say?
Yeah, lovely.
Okay, we'll have some of that. This is 8:45. Here is, I don't know, because it's not on my screen.
That's all right, it's Will here.
Hey, Will.
So, hey, how you doing? Ladbroke Grove is still...
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
Don't go and see the Simpsons movie, unless they're advertising with us, by the way, in which case it's the best film ever made. If they're not, it's the least funny film in history. It sucks.
Why did you do that?
It was free. Oh, everything was great about the...
Why did you do that?
Do what?
Go and see it.
Because it was free.
And besides that?
It was in the Soho Hotel. Which, as I've mentioned before, is one too many hoes if it's going to be in Soho.
Why were you there?
Because they said, do you want to come? And I'm like, oh, then. Because I thought it was going to be great. And I like The Simpsons. You know, some of those episodes are really not funny at all. You don't even crack a smile. But other times, it'll be the funniest thing you see that day. And they said, come along as a guest of us. And I'd not really been in the Soho Hotel before. And so I thought, well, yeah, why not? Oh, it was great. You go in and there's some of the most exquisite nibbles I've ever passed through my lips. Oh,
those
wonderful.
nibbles?
Oh, they were great.
Oh.
And the booze was free, and you go and you sit down, and there's like leather sofas with all the trays on arms that you can put your drink on, and it was the best cinema I've ever been to in my life. And it was wonderful, and then the film started.
Oh, no!
And then the troubles began. I can't even express in words how bad that film is.
I think it was because there was too much hype beforehand.
No, it's because it wasn't funny.
Because you're a fan of The Simpsons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if the film had come on as just an extra long episode on your TV...
I would have thought that was the least funny Simpsons episode I've ever seen.
Really?
I'm not kidding, it's awful.
I think because it was hyped up as a, you know, this great blockbuster movie,
Yeah,
you know...
no, nothing to do with it.
No, I don't
Because other
think
films
so.
that I'm telling you, other films that have been hyped up, I find great. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the Bourne, whatever it is.
Which one is it now?
The Bourne finality.
Conclusion?
Yeah, something like that. Because there'll be explosions and car chases, Helen.
Well, it's been a bad couple of weeks in all, really, hasn't it?
In what sense?
For cinema.
Oh, cinema.
I thought Harry Potter was...
No,
exactly.
Harry Potter. Yeah. Well, you didn't like Harry Potter.
I've not been to the cinema for 2.5 weeks now.
Yeah.
Because everywhere, including my local independent, is showing the Simpsons movie.
Right.
And before that, Harry Potter.
Well, Harry Potter was good.
No.
Was it? I've heard
it was.
otherwise.
No, it was good. It wasn't very much fun. I mean, the other ones have been fun and sort of put you in mind of Christmas. This doesn't really put you in mind of anything apart from a living hell.
Harry Potter's for kids.
Well, it's not for kids.
It is for kids.
Well, the books are for kids, but the movies can be enjoyed by children of all age.
No, it's definitely for kids.
Well, then you know, Terminator's for kids, and well, probably take out the graphic violence
and the language, and
yeah. But no,
but you probably had a 12-year-old child with you, didn't you?
In my mind.
Oh.
Yeah, I am a 12-year-old child in my own mind. Yeah. So I was ready to enjoy it, but I didn't. And neither did anybody else in the cinema. I'm going to stop saying... I know I've said this several times, but I feel it's part of my duty to save the audience some money. Because it costs so very much to go to the cinema these days that I might as well, you know, I feel like I'm doing my bit. Dib, 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 dob, dob, dob.
Yeah.
And all that.
I don't understand how it could be that rubbish, though.
Neither can I.
Because...
I am mystified. Because the amount of times that I heard Matt Groening go on, oh, well, you know, in our ordinary TV programme, then a joke only has to get a laugh 200 times before we'll include it.
Yeah.
But when we were doing the movie, of course, it was much more important, so we had to laugh at the joke 400 times. And if at the 400th time we didn't find it funny, then we'd put a brand new joke in there. And I'm thinking, what film are you talking about? It was awful.
The thing is, I don't understand, because it's the same characters and it's the same type of jokes as in the TV series.
There just weren't many jokes. It was as I said before, it struck me as a film which happened to star The Simpsons. It wasn't The Simpsons.
Is it because normally they have their jokes compacted into like a 25-minute episode, whereas they had to spread out their jokes over an hour and over
Well, that's
an hour
a
and
ludicrous
half.
thing to say. I mean, yeah.
They use the same amount of jokes.
Well, you'd think so, yeah. But, no, I just couldn't get over how not funny it is. I was very, very disappointed. Those South Park guys must be thrilled, though, because they produced 2 hilarious films, and there's just the 2 of them. The Simpsons, on the other hand, is this billion-pound Goliath of an industry that can employ the best writers in the world. They've got no end of money. And it looked to me like they'd written it in a weekend. But that's not what I was going to talk about before. What was I going? Oh, yeah, as a closer to the this spooky aliens thing. So have either of you had an experience like that? Now, I'm not saying that I did see aliens or that they were alien crafts. It's just that there were things going on in the sky that I have no explanation for.
You know what? I really wish something like that would happen to me.
And then Richard Branson had blown up his own luminous spaceship once we got there.
Yowza.
He's a groovy dude.
I bet he is.
But Sir Patrick Moore, is he still alive? Sir Patrick Moore, veteran presenter of The Sky at Night, dismisses the chance of aliens visiting Earth. He said, "There's no intelligent life in our solar system." Is that close?
Yeah.
Helen's unsure.
It's probably true, though, isn't it?
Except possibly on Earth.
That's better.
Is that anywhere near?
That's even better, yeah.
And I'm not so sure about that. So the chances of anyone seeing an alien craft are extremely light.
Spot on.
So to anyone who thinks he's got an alien craft, he would say, "Have another look." You could use his monocle. Why does he use a monocle? I mean, that's just his showbiz.
His gimmick.
Yeah, his gimmick. Yeah. Chelsea, hello, Basil.
Hello, Nick.
Basil.
Nick, do you know the chap that's going round and round on the roller coaster?
Richard Rodriguez.
Is that his name? Do you know what annoys me about them records is that they never really do what you think they're doing, because I suspect there's going to be all sorts of rules that says you can have so many breaks and get off it and have a kip and have the toilet, and so it makes the whole thing a bit pointless, I think.
Completely, yeah. We were talking about that. You obviously aren't listening to this show.
I missed that bit. No, like when they go into space and they say he's been in, the Russian's been up there for 6 months, he's really been up there for 6 months.
Yes.
He hasn't popped back to the toilet. So I think that all these records, he should have to stay on the thing.
Yes, quite.
As long as he can, that's it.
Exactly right, yeah. If you get off, then you haven't been on it for 10 days. And naturally he'll have to get off to go to the loo.
It makes it
One would
fast.
hope.
The other thing is, these kids that are leaving school with hundreds of A-levels, I think that the proof really is, I mean, Chris says that he thinks that they're getting cleverer, but really, you've only got to meet them, haven't you?
Well, the shocking news is that 1 in 5 of people that leave school can't read and write.
Well, I was in the two shops recently. I went into a large chemist to do with Wellingtons, and the girl in there, the till broke, and I bought something for £3.70, gave her a fiver, and she couldn't work out the change.
Oh, yeah, forget it. Yeah, absolutely.
The girl next to her, she said, my till doesn't work, and it's £3.70 and it's five, and she looked at her blankly. Then she said to me, how much change do you want?
Oh, that would be my favourite phrase ever.
And then yesterday I went to the newsagents and said to the girl, can I have a dozen first-class stamps? She said, what's a dozen?
Oh, I give up. I'm dropping my pen, I'm giving up. If only Heathrow were working, I'd pack my bags and leave right now. Thanks a lot, Basil.
Really?
That was the bad news brought to you by us.
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a call, listening to you talking about exams and qualifications and my personal bugbear, media studies.
Yeah.
I actually work in the media industry on the sort of the technical side, and I employ people quite regularly, a lot of whom are like graduates and this kind of thing.
Right.
And, you were saying about, well, how do you get to the interview stage?
Yeah.
If anybody's listening who actually wants to go into the media, don't do media studies.
I've been saying the same thing forever, and no one will pay any attention to me.
No, but basically, I mean, I'm sorry, but 90% of media studies courses are job creation schemes for the lecturers. That's what they're there for.
And because they're so very easy to pass, it just makes the school look good, because nobody asks them, all these A's, what are they in? They just count the A's.
Absolutely. I mean, if I'm looking to employ somebody, and seriously, media studies, they go in the no pile.
Well,
unless there is something absolutely exceptional, like previous work history or something like that.
But you know what? It's not and the danger is we blame the children, but of course it's not their fault. They're funneled into doing this.
Yep, I agree. And it's basically that, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think the kids are being conned.
They and we, yes.
Yep.
It's all about statistics. It's all about, aren't we doing well? Well, you know what? No, we're not.
You're right, we're not. I mean, the number of people who I interview who you struggle to understand because they can hardly string a coherent sentence together.
Well, yeah, have you heard the people that call this show?
Hang on a minute, I'm calling the show.
Oh, I can hear every word, Bob. You're enunciating perfectly.
Thank you. And you just despair sometimes, you really do. And seriously, I mean, if someone wants to work in the media, do something else. Don't do media studies.
I think that it's true now as it ever was. If you want to work in the media, work in the media. Go in, do work for free, be a runner, make tea, just make yourself useful, smile a lot, and that's the way to get on, not to go and watch
if you're going to go down the road that I do, the technical side, do something like computer science or electronics or, dare I say it, physics, something that's actually difficult, that proves you can understand complex subjects.
Physics, the P word, the subject that dare not speak its name. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a real shame. I mean, you're absolutely right. And, of course, the irony of the whole thing is, it's the media who are actually making things worse. When you look at a certain reality television show on Channel 4, where a few years ago a certain young lady became very, very rich because she was so thick.
Yeah, and I've got to go, Bob, but thanks a lot for the call. And you're right, that it's being made to look like a career choice. Only Jade Goody can do that.
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
I really like you. Do you like me?
Talking about Jane Goody, as it were, just for the new news there, by the way. And the thing that I just tried to squeeze in there before I run out of time was that people do seem to view being famous as a career path. Well, ask them, get a gaggle of teenagers together and ask them what they want to do in life, and I bet the most popular answer is be famous. I just want to be famous, like that.
Well, it's because, like, parents bring up their kids going, go out there, you can do anything. If you just put your mind to it, you can do anything.
Yeah, and we don't care what time you come in the morning. Just do anything you like. We won't say the N-word, the word no to you at all.
And, of course, they see someone like Jay Goody, who's...
But that's doing nothing.
Yeah, but...
I mean, as a kid, I wanted to... First of all, I wanted to be a fireman, of course, who doesn't? And then I wanted to be a bus conductor, because you get to press that big red button, calling Dr. Freud.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to be DJ, which is a ridiculous thing for a person to want to be on the radio. Don't do it, boys and girls. I'm serious. You thank me later. No, really, I mean it. But these things, you dismiss them as childish frippery, and then you go on to do the sensible thing that will actually make you money and protect your children and, give them a good start in life and all that jazz. I got stuck in the childhood phase, and this is how I end up. So let that be a lesson to you. But just, you want to be famous? What is that? I want to be a footballer, yes. I want to be a rock star, who doesn't? But I just want to be famous. I want to be one of those people they write about in the 3 a.m. column, or whatever it's called, or the inside page of the Sun. I want to be one of those people who gets a photograph taken.
Well,
what?
I think it's the appeal that it's an easy lifestyle.
Well, yeah. You might as well say, I want to be born a royal. My career, what I'm going to do for a career is I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. That's just nonsensical, isn't it? But they actually seem to believe that this is a possibility. And I think that it's... Our media aren't doing this, the country any favours. And I've said this before, and I'll repeat myself because it's important. They're only celebrating people who get stoned, get drunk, and shag around a lot. Those are the only people who get celebrated in newspapers anymore. We do not celebrate anybody who actually achieves anything anymore, with the possible exception of footballers. And the ones that they prefer are footballers who get drunk, get stoned, and shag around a lot. Pick any one from the above.
They tick all the boxes, then?
Yes. Nobody who actually does anything, who makes something of themselves, is celebrated in the, if you got me the Sun today and you go to the celebrity pages inside, none of those people have actually done anything. It'll all be people like Jade Goody, or some woman who just happens to have gigantic boobs, who is willing to get them out for the camera. It'll be people like that, or like Pete Drugs, whatever his name is. Pete Doherty, I challenge you to whistle one song that man's ever done. Why is he famous? Not because he's a great musician. Who cares? He's famous because he takes a lot of drugs, man. And that seems to be, oh yeah, okay, well, I'll be one of those people, they say. As though that's even close to being a possibility. They'll say that Jade Goody is a millionaire, and I'll just be, I don't have to, like, work when I think. I'll just be Jade Goody.
Well,
and aren't you a little bit frightened by that? Because it does imply that if an entire generation just wants to be Jade Goody because it's easy, and all you have to do is say things, and then you'll get millions of pounds and a house in Essex, and you'll be famous, then in 20 years' time, well, you might as well just close the country up and move.
Does that frighten you?
Well, I think it should be of concern. Yeah, I do. And it's not an exaggeration. If you get a gaggle of teenagers together, and you see all these people that show up for these X Factor this and Pop Idol the other, you ask every single one of them what they want to be, and they just want to be famous. They don't want to be a singer, or they don't want to be a dancer, or they don't want to be a songwriter, or they don't want to be an inventor, or anything like that. It's just the F word, famous.
Yeah, but the thing is, I wouldn't be concerned about it because, if they believe that and they want to do that, then, it's their own stupid fault. And sooner or later, they'll realise it's not going to happen, and
they'll be sat at home, drinking Stella, watching Trisha.
No, the bills are coming through the post, and so they have to get out and go and get a job and...
Or not. Or they just stay at home drinking Stella and watching Trisha, and the rest of us, poor saps, who go out and actually work for a living, the ones in the middle, the ones who have barely got enough money to pay the bills ourselves, we're the ones that would be paying for all these people who thought that a career... their career opportunity included, I want to be famous, and then they come to find out 20 years later that, shock of all shocks, it hasn't happened to them. And they can't understand why. They're just as thick as Jade Goody is, and they can't believe how she's done so well, and they haven't. There is only one Jade Goody. Everybody, there's only one Jade Goody.
Goodness.
One. But all the people queuing for the X Factor, right, and things like that.
Yes.
They're not all unemployed sitting at home watching Trisha. They've got jobs as well. This is just an ambition, that they're just seeing if what will happen.
Jade Goody is restyling herself by investing in a beauty salon. It said in the Super Soaraway today. The Big Brother star is about to become co-owner of Femme Fatale.
I thought she already had a beauty salon.
I'll come to that in a minute. In Loughton, in Essex, Femme Fatale. Fatale spelt F-A-T-E-L. She and the other boss plan to open a chain of parlours. Oh, that'll work. There's nothing like a spelling mistake to bring people in. Jade's... And that's not even a spelling mistake that makes any sense. Fatale. It's not owned by...
How do they spell it again?
F-A-T-E-L. It sounds like a Pakistani family. So, unless it is actually Pakistani run, it doesn't make any sense. Unless it's the Fatale family, it doesn't make any sense. She and the other boss plan to open a chain of these things. Jade's showbiz career plummeted following the Celeb BB race row. Oh, blimey, they're still going on about that. As though racism has been cured in this country, apart from Jade Goody. All right, not a racist thought passes anybody's mind in this country ever. We're stunned at the very possibility of it. Pal said she wants to invest what money she has left to secure her children's future. Trained beautician. Exactly how do you train to be a beautician, then?
I was hoping I could get my nails clipped and out of the way before you got here.
What does the training actually involve, by the way?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person.
Oh, right. A trained beautician, Jade, 26, used to own a salon called...
Jade Salon?
No. It actually closed due to lack of profit, which is hard to believe, considering the beauty salon was called... Uglies.
Was it?
Here is Muswell Hill. Hey, Faye.
Hi, I thought you were going to pick up. See, when you were saying how it's easier to get an A, and all these people are saying it's really easy to get an A, I would like them to, sit down and do the exam and try to get an A and say it was easy.
Yeah.
Because it's not true. You have to put a lot of work into it to even get an A.
Right. Well, how come so many people are getting A's, then? Is it because children are much more intelligent than they were before?
Okay. If you look at, the proper subjects, the sciences and the maths, and it's not a lot of kids get an A, but if you look at, media and photography and art and all those crap subjects. Okay, people are getting A's in that because they're easy to get A's in. You don't have to put a lot of work into that stuff. But if you, like, in sciences and other stuff, you actually have to put a lot of work into it. And it's really annoying to hear, like, these 50-year-olds say it's really easy to get an A, because it's not. You have to put a lot of work into it.
Yeah. What we're saying is that it's easier now than it was.
No, it's not.
Well, how do you know, dear?
I like you to sit down and do a biology exam and say it was
I've done all of that. I did all that.
No, but
They used to have school 20 years ago. And that you can say with certitude that it's easier, that it's not as hard now as it was, is a ludicrous thing to say, Faye, because you're just guessing.
It's still hard.
Yeah, but we're not saying it's not hard, we're saying it's easier.
Yeah, but it's still hard, and it's really annoying for you to say it's easy.
It's easier.
Well, whatever. It's still annoying. Because you put a lot of work into it.
Right.
And you're just going, oh, it's easier.
It is easier. What did you get in English?
I got a B.
A B?
Yeah. What's funny about that?
Well, a B now is what an E used to be. You're a failure, Faye. I hate to break the news to you. You lose. Good day, madam. I did try to restrain myself during the course of that conversation. I hope that you appreciated, because there was, talk about setting them up to knock them down. There was just no end of material in there, am I right? And I think that I restrained myself quite well. As always, my best side came through. My watchword. Politeness.
Be polite!
Always. Here is West Drayton. Hello, Adrian.
Hello.
Adrian.
How you doing?
All right, thanks.
Good. Yeah, just talking about the Richard Branson party you went to.
Oh, yeah.
I was fortunate enough to go to it 10 years ago. A friend of mine worked for him, and he'd been for a couple of years, and he didn't fancy going. So he gave me 2 tickets to go down there. So we went on the Sunday, and it was just absolutely fantastic.
Just the thing in Oxfordshire?
That's it, yeah. Drive through the gates, and we drove through the gates into this field, and as soon as we got in through the gates, there was a whole fun fair there with a big wheel and everything. Parked the car up, walked through the fun fair into his back garden, basically, with a little stream running through it, and he had gold. At a certain part of this little stream, he'd put gold nuggets, so you could do a little bit of gold panning. And it was brilliant. He had Burger King there. He didn't have McDonald's there at that time. He had Burger King and Pizza Hut. And Abbot were playing on stage. He had a falconry thing there, and Second World War aeroplanes flying across.
Did you see any spooky alien activity?
Well, we didn't, no, because you can stay there from the Friday to the Sunday, apparently, but we only went there on the Sunday, but it would have been a good laugh to stay there the whole weekend, because he was absolutely brilliant. I think it was the day of the men's Wimbledon final, and his living room is like a glass conservatory. And I was standing by one of the doors, and my girlfriend was sitting down on the settee, and funny, he came up to me, he said, "You can go in and sit down if you want to." And I said, "No, that's all right, I'll stand here." And we had a little bit of a conversation. We were talking, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. And then this bloke walked over, and he said, "Oh, Mr. Branson, I've just joined your company. It's so nice to join your company. So nice."
Get that? You got that? Oh, we were with him all the way until right at the very end. Oh dear, what a pity, never mind. It's 9:17. Here's Travel Now with Will Gowing.
Thanks very much. If you're heading just around Ladbroke Grove tonight, the Ladbroke Grove itself is closed off both ways. It's with a burst water main between Westbourne Park Road.
Affirmative.
You watch TV on a Saturday night?
No, I kind of watch DVD box sets instead.
Do you? What are you watching?
I just finished Prison Break Season 1.
Oh, isn't it great?
Fantastic.
Yeah, one of the best things on TV. one of the least female-friendly television programmes I've ever seen in my life. It's all completely dark and violent all the time, isn't it?
I thought girls love it.
Girls? Why would they love that?
Oh, I don't know, because it's like...
they're gazing at Wentworth Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but apart from him, the thing is, it's just so redeemingly bleak. Unredeemingly bleak.
Yes. That appeals to us blokes.
Blokes, yeah. You know, there's like deaths and explosions and all of that stuff.
Blood.
Yeah, lots of that, yeah. Viciousness. Huh? No, not a lot of romance in it. No, not really, no. At least in the second series, I suppose...
Oh, don't give anything away.
Well, the second series has been on TV. I mean, the whole series has been on TV, right? So if you're going to watch the Prison Break, then... At least in the second series, I'll put it like this, there's more light. Because the first series is almost totally dark from start to finish, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's grey. It's monochrome. The second series, sunshine actually comes in every now and again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't bother watching actual normal telly.
Well, box sets are by far the best way to watch those American dramas, because they only last 40 minutes, which, if you only see one a week, is so very, oh, my brain stopped. It's a very, what is it when you don't get quite enough of something? Not insufficient, unsatisfying. Unsatisfying is the right answer.
Oh.
What the one?
Chris's respect.
What? I've just had a brain freeze as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
What were you trying to think of, babe?
I was just trying to think of what the prime time schedule is on a Saturday night.
I know.
Do you?
It's the culture show with Lauren Laverne, isn't it?
No, it isn't. Lauren
That's what I
Laverne.
watch.
Who is Lauren Laverne, by the way? I
Some
mean,
blonde woman.
ditzy bimbo, isn't she?
She's all right.
Who the hell is that woman that she's presenting the culture show? I find it absolutely unwatchable. It's like a culture show for children, babies. Children would find it be demeaning. It's
heavy going.
It's not heavy going. It's quite the reverse. It's moronic.
But it's heavy going in that you're not treated like you have some kind of intelligence, and the pace is very slow. But that's what I watch.
It's a culture programme for people that aren't interested in culture. I just find it astonishing.
So you're not watching Dance X then?
Oh, well, this is what I was going to talk about. You see, it were grand when I were a lad. The same company that's bringing us the culture show now, which, as I say, is presented by, like one of those sort of glottal, stocky, like, oh, it's fantastic, like one of those people. Lauren, who is Lauren Laverne, by the way?
She's a DJ.
She's a radio.
Hey!
She's one of your
DJ! Really? Well, I rest my face. A DJ. She is the female equivalent of Vernon Kay.
She's just in the right place at the right time.
I'm just... because I wanted to watch a programme about culture, because there's precious little of it on TV, right? Especially on the BBC. They're all just ridiculous rubbish on there now. So I gave it a go, but this woman presenting it, I just couldn't get by it. I just thought it's ridiculous.
Who would you want to present it then?
Somebody who actually appears to either be interested in or has achieved something in culture would be nice.
So
not a DJ. I mean, that would be my first request. No DJs. In fact, all DJs should only be DJs. That's it.
So not Vernon Kay then?
And what? And while they're being DJs, they should shut up too.
Hmm.
Every now and again, you'll turn on to a pirate station when you're flipping around in the car. If you've forgotten your CD changer and you're forced to tune around, there's so many of them, and they never stop talking. I would have thought that, because I did maybe a day or two on a pirate station maybe 20 years ago, before I actually got what could loosely be described as a proper job.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing was to play the music and just shut up about it, you know. But these guys, they just don't shut up. When a shot going out to the pussy, and West End Massive, and
they speak over all the records.
All of them.
It's because they got loads of shout-outs to get through before the end of the show.
It seems that no matter their ability to actually do radio, and believe me, you don't actually have to be any good at radio to be on the radio. I mean, that's apparent instantly you turn the thing on, right? I mean, listen to this show. Not Ian's show, mine.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems like their egos is just so completely out of control. If I was playing music, and I do at another place, if I play music, I hone my words to the absolute minimum. Because if you listen to a music station, this is a talk station. People listen to this for talk.
Yes.
Not music.
The music do the talking.
Yeah, the music station, other way around, right? But pirates, and you'd have thought that they, more than anybody, would be keen to let the music do the talking, because that's the very reason that they're on the air, right? There are no pirate talk stations, only music. But they just don't shut up. And they're all, to a man, because they're all men, awful. Like, your ears are bleeding with the rubbish that they come out with. Anyway, why are we talking about this?
I can't even make out what they're saying anyway, so...
No, exactly. But, Dance X, yes, have you seen that mess?
No.
BBC One talent contest Dance X suffered its first ratings defeat at the hands of...
Lauren Laverne?
No. No. ITV1's dance rival, Baby Ballroom. Just the name of it makes my skin crawl. Baby Ballroom.
That's not what I think it is it?
That sounds creepy.
I would imagine it's children doing ballroom dancing. Isn't Dance X just that as well?
With adults?
Dance X featuring Strictly Come Dancing judges Arlene Phillips and Bruno Tonioli. Who are they?
I reckon...
Don't.
Oh.
Slipped to its lowest audience of the run so far, with just 2.9 million people watching that. There is no hope for this country. This is the third week in a row that Dance X has lost viewers since it debuted with 4.8 million on in July. ITV's Baby Ballroom, The Championship, 2 episodes into a 3-part run, had 3.2 million viewers on Saturday, a 24% share of the audience. A quarter of the people watching television were watching something called Baby Ballroom, The Championship, which is just a copy of what is on the other channel at the same time. I swear, no one in television has any ideas anymore. Or anybody that does actually have an idea has been escorted from the building. Because the culture, the BBC used to make culture programmes like The Ascent of Man with Jacob Bronowski and Civilization with Arthur Clarke. Arthur Clarke?
Arthur C. Clarke?
No. Clarke. I can't remember his first name. Anyway, those 2 programmes, which are very difficult. You have to really pay attention, and your brain hurts after you've been through it. And you may have lost 98% of what they said, but 2% you'll retain. You'll actually learn something. I challenge you, in fact, I double dare you to tell me, on pain of death, one single thing you learnt from The Culture Show.
Lauren Laverne presents it?
Is the right answer.
We come London's LBC 97.3
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Great, mate. So Matt Damon is... What a noise. What a racket she makes when she comes and goes.
I know.
So Matt Damon is the most value for money star in Hollywood's firmament, apparently, because per pound of his salary, which must be 10 million a movie, something like that.
Around there.
He earns much more per pound of his salary than either Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise, who are probably the biggest paid stars. Now that Arnie Schwarzenegger has stopped doing movies.
Affirmative.
Oh, that's not him, is it? That's not even close. Now that Arnold Schwarzenegger...
Yes.
...has stopped doing movies, then it's probably Tom and Tom, the 2 Toms, who must get 25 million pound a film, right?
Must do, yeah.
Well, the reason that people are going to see The Bourne Ultimatum, Supremacy, whatever this one's called, is not, no offence to Matt Damon, but he's a bit of a bland character, isn't he, really? I mean, he doesn't set the pulse racing like Arnie does.
No, but the thing with those films is that you kind of have to follow on the story. You watch one and you can't go without seeing the rest.
I found that with the second one, because I'd seen the first one such a long time ago, and the second Bourne film, I had got no idea what was going on. And so I had to watch the first one again, and then I forgot what happened in the second one, so then I had to watch the second one again.
See, the first one I didn't quite get anyway.
Right.
I haven't seen the second one, though.
It's very good, I think.
Is it?
But people don't go to see the Bourne films because it's Matt Damon. People go to see the Bourne films because it's exciting, and there are explosions and car chases. It's because they're good films, not because Matt Damon is in it. On the other hand, people probably do go and see movies because Tom Cruise is in it.
Of course.
So in that respect, he is better a value for money. I mean, can there anybody that would really, whatever film it is, Matt Damon's in it, I'm going to see it? I mean, would you do that?
No.
Is there anybody that you would say, I don't know anything about this film, but such and such is in it, I'm going to go and see it? There aren't really people like that anymore, are there?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep?
Well, I would have done about 15 years ago.
I would have said Jack Nicholson, just because he, for the longest time, was a sign of quality. So you don't really... But then he did that As Good As It Gets thing, and he started doing lovey-dovey roles, and I thought, oh no, Jack, what have you done?
But didn't he win, like 2 Oscars for that?
Did he?
Yeah.
It's a good film, though.
Well, they probably didn't win Oscars for that. He won Oscars because he was Jack Nicholson.
Right.
Or Marlon Brando, there's another one. I mean, I would have gone to see anything with Marlon Brando in it, just because it's Marlon Brando. Oh. All
right, you might not like him, but people...
Woody Allen?
Yeah, but people go and see a Woody Allen film because Woody Allen is in it.
I very much doubt that.
Well, yeah, because it's a very niche market, isn't it?
I don't think niche, him and his daughter, stroke wife, whoever she is. No one goes to see Woody Allen films anymore. He hasn't been funny. Well, you know what? You see an old Woody Allen film, even what the two that are supposed to be the greatest of all time, Annie Hall and Manhattan, and they're not funny anymore either. So perhaps Woody Allen was never funny. But no one has been to see a film of his in at least 10 years. I mean, he keeps releasing all these films to absolutely no interest of any kind.
Nicole Kidman.
Oh yeah, she's good.
Right.
People would go and see a film with Nicole Kidman.
But is it because of Nicole Kidman, or just because her appearance in a film denotes that it would be an item of quality?
Both,
she doesn't appear in
Yeah.
rubbish, in other words.
Yeah, she can adapt to any role.
Right.
So and because she can, you know it's going to be good because she's a good actress.
It might be one of those that she's actually a ghost and doesn't know it.
Yeah, what's wrong with those?
Actually, that was quite good. That was one of those at the end.
Yeah, what was that?
Just completely spoiled
The
it for
Others.
everybody.
She said The Others and The Hours.
Yeah, I can't remember which was which. In one of those, I saw dead people.
Yeah.
Here is Wemberley. Hello, Richard.
Hello there.
Richard.
I was just sort of listening to your radio on the way up here, on the station, and you said that in your day an E was a failure on your exam.
A D?
E. An E was a failure.
A D?
No, well, when I done my exams in 1982, an F was actually a failure, and E was a pass.
Well, that's an outrage. A D is a failure in my book.
No, well, fine. And also, my son's exams, what he done when he left secondary school, were far, far harder than anything I ever done when I left school. Just after he joined...
Based on what? Based on you looking at them?
Well, yes.
Well, I'm sorry, Richard, but that's a ludicrous thing to say, because you hadn't been studying that subject of late.
Well, no, maths was my top subject at school, and my son has sort of followed me, but when he sort of left from the primary school to go to the secondary school, they were already teaching what we was doing when we had left in our last year.
Well, I don't know what kind of, hick school you went to, but everybody else says completely the opposite.
No, I don't agree with that at all. I've got 2 sons now, but now, well, the first one has now started his second year at college, and the youngest one is now starting his first year at college. And any of the exams that they done sort of while they were at school, because they sometimes used to come and, Dad, can you help with this?
Yeah, well, of course you couldn't, because you haven't studied the subject in decades.
Well, no, but they were doing things I never had done. They have advanced that more technical. I know a lot of what I'd done at school I'd never remember, because that's never done me no good since the day I left school.
Well, no, you could put calculus and, pretty much everything I learnt at school. I retained one fact from all of my years of higher education.
Yeah.
lime water turns... No, see, I even got that wrong. Carbon dioxide turns lime water milky. I know that's a fact, because it's the only thing I remembered.
So, no, as I say, I would say, I personally believe that the exams definitely have not got easier.
Right, well, I personally believe that, I'm afraid, Richard, I have to say you don't know what you're talking about, because it's only you that's saying that. All of the evidence points to the contrary. Never mind. Better luck next time. But thanks a lot, mate. All right.
Okay.
Cheers. Here is Electric Parade. Hello, Tallulah.
Hello, you.
Hey, you. How's your parrot?
Oh, good. We were in the library earlier.
You're allowed to take your budgie to the library.
Oh, yeah, he's going on there.
Really?
Yeah, I rather stay away from the library, but when my internet doesn't work, then I have to go there.
Yeah. That's the only reason people go to the library anymore, isn't it? Get out of the rain and surf the net.
Yeah, and they stare at you when you giggle a bit louder. Because they don't like it.
They do what?
When I giggle a bit loud because I was reading something what was funny, they stare at you.
Yeah. Shh.
Yeah.
There's signs everywhere. Quiet, please.
But do you have any indication that famous people listen to your show?
Famous people listen to this. I don't have any indication that anyone listens to my show.
But just imagine Richard Branson would have listened to your show and listened to all the stuff from all the parties that he's thrown.
Well, he probably tuned in when I was working at another place that he had a connection with, you would think.
Yeah,
perhaps.
but do you think he's got spies around and say you started to talk about his party and they call him quickly? It's like, hey, Richard, look, there's somebody who's talking about one of your parties. Quick, 97.3, LBC.
Right. And he's going to have me taken out now.
Well, I just want to say, in case he listens, I said, hey, Richard, can you make sure that I get my internet service, please? I didn't have for 2 months. Maybe it helps I can give him my account number.
Yeah. Hey, Tallulah.
Stop whining.
Stop whining.
Oi, you know what? 2 months I don't get internet service, and I have to go to the library, and I pay my full amount. What kind of business is that? That is no business.
Hands up anyone who's actually satisfied with their broadband supplier. Like, is there anyone in the country actually satisfied with that? My broadband supplier, I've never dealt with a company that's as utterly incompetent as my broadband supplier. It's incredible to me that they're still in business. I can't credit how dumb they are.
You too? You've got problems?
Everyone has problems.
So,
mind you think back to that old time where you had to dial up the thing and it would make that... I can't remember how it goes now, but there's a sound that you don't hear much anymore. Well, that was a nightmare, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's whatever we're suffering under now is better than it used to be.
And can I quickly say something? In case the Queen is listening,
yes.
I wanted to ask her if she wants to be my budgie sitter every now and then. She just has to bring around the car, I will pop the budgie in, and she can have lots of fun.
Well, this goes back to what we were talking about on Saturday night, on my super show on Saturday night, which, by the way, as it's on my mind, let me remind you that if you missed a second of, you can catch on our excellent podcast service on lbc.co.uk. Go to LBC Plus. Sign up, and then you'll get my show until it's coming out your ears. Or into your ears. But if you listen to that, then you'll hear that the Queen actually met this lady's budgie and commented on it at length.
Yeah!
But let's not go over that story again, eh?
No.
You can only dine out on that so long.
Wait, all she has to do is ring to LBC and give a hint, and they pass it on to me.
Right. Okay, well, whoever in the royal household is listening to this right now, you know what to do.
Tallulah wants to have a budgie sitter, and there's no better person than the Queen and her staff.
Absolutely, to keep the budgie in the luxury to which it would like to become accustomed. Yeah.
Hierarchy, yes.
Thanks a lot, Tallulah.
No problem, man.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
Bye.
Hey, we've got a competition running at the moment. This is a big one. It's called Hotspot. You know those that old game Battleships?
Yeah.
Well, there were lots of squares, and you had to guess under which square someone's battleship was. War game. It was a war game, basically.
I think I got a Travels one of those.
Travel battleship, sure, why not? Well, this is just like that. We have lots of squares, behind which are a 32-inch LCD TV, Hewlett-Packard laptop, 2 Nintendo Wii game consoles, 1 Xbox 360, 4 iPod Nanos, and 10 DVDs. Did they mean 10 DVDs or 10 DVD machines?
What it says.
10 DVDs. To win, you need to be the first to find them, and it is much the same as the old Battleships game. We have a grid, if you can picture this in your mind, going from A to Z along one axis and 1 to 1,000 on the other. In the grid, these prizes are hidden under various hotspots. All you need to do is to text in a spot where you think the prize might be. We're going to text you back to tell you if you're cold, like you're absolutely nowhere near, whether you're warm, close, or hot, very, very close, which will enable you to track down the goodies. You can just follow the instructions, basically. If you hit one of the hotspots and you're the first person to get there, then you win what is underneath that spot. To pick a spot from the grid and hunt for the prize, text LBC and a space, followed by your chosen grid reference to 88821. So, if it was row B, column 500, you would text LBC, space, B, 500, 2, and that would be the letters 500, to 88821. The first player to find a prize wins it. Each go on your mobile costs £1.50 plus your standard network rate. For free entry and full terms and conditions, go to lbc.co.uk/competitions. Over 16s only. Hotspot ends 11:30 p.m. Friday. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
It's 9:45. Here's Travel with Will Gowing.
Thanks very much. Ladbroke Grove tonight is still closed.
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Come on, we're running late!
So Tallulah was talking about her meeting with the Queen, and the Queen commented on the budgie, and then years later, she apparently people in the royal household were still banging on about the budgie. And the Queen has been in the papers for ages now, and apparently now she personally is insisting that the BBC scrap the documentary at the centre of that fake trailer scandal.
Yep.
Which was no kind of scandal at all, really. I mean, the whole television industry is busy eviscerating itself, falling on its own sword. They're killing themselves slowly. They're flagellating, they're self-flagellating, like something out of the Da Vinci Code. All because of this, because they mixed up her. It looked like she was storming out of a room and a half. She was actually storming into the room and a half. Big deal.
Do you think this is the things like that are the reason why there's no good ideas on telly at the moment?
No, because the good ideas on telly were noticeable by their absence for a long time previous to this. The Da Vinci Code, by the way, I saw the film though the other day.
Oh.
I'd given up on the book after 50 pages. I thought this is one of the worst written pieces of tripe I've ever embarked upon. I don't really read books, much to my shame, but the people have been going on and on and on about this. So I thought I'll give it a go, and I just thought, oh God, I just can't be bothered. I'll wait till the film comes out. I'll watch that. It'll be over in 2 hours. And I did, and it was all right.
Really?
Yeah, well, it didn't make me want to fling my TV out the window. It was okay.
Did you watch it because Tom Hanks was in it?
No.
Oh yeah, right.
I'll tell you why I watched it. I watched it because it was in high definition, baby. I watch anything that's in a high def.
It was like you were there.
Yeah, exactly. Shortly after the row, the Queen ordered the filmmakers RDF to leave the palace.
Hello, I want you to leave the palace.
That sounds like you're Patrick Moore.
Mm.
That was
Patrick Moore now.
No. An urgent BBC inquiry is now taking place to see how the show can go ahead. The BBC refused to comment, but a Pielius source said yesterday, I can't see how the BBC can show a documentary if the Queen doesn't want it shown. Well, I mean, that's just pathetic. Of course they should show it. Don't we all want to see it? Hands up who doesn't want to see it. Hands up who does want to see it. Overwhelming. We want to see it.
Yeah, only because it was talked about for such a long time.
Well, there's only one thing worse than being talked about. Hello, Jethro.
Hiya.
How you going?
That's been, I'm fine, yeah. I just had a little bit of a bonfire in the garden. So
well, that's not helping the planet.
Well, of course it is.
Well,
of course it is.
No, it isn't.
Why isn't it?
Well, it's producing carbon. You're releasing carbon into the atmosphere, you fool.
No, I'm making pleasant sort of smelly smells all over the place, which people think, oh, that's real country life, that is.
Well, you know what? It's like autumn, is what it'll smell like.
Yeah.
Can you not hold off for a couple of months?
Well, I had to burn a wasp's nest, So,
Ah, well, good for you.
Yeah.
As long as there were live animals in it. Excellent.
Oh, no, I managed to get rid of those first. But I thought I'd better get rid of it just in case they came back.
I do like the smell of a distant bonfire on the breeze, isn't it? It's very evocative of childhood and...
Yeah. There's something comforting about a real live fire, isn't there?
Scrumping for apples, yeah.
Yeah. I've been scrumping for apples today as well.
Have you?
Yeah, country pursuits, that kind of thing. We're not allowed to hunt foxes anymore. It's very naughty.
Quite.
We just let city dwellers blast them out of the back gardens with 2.2 rifles.
Really?
On council-commissioned killers, you know.
Yeah, or stab them for disrespect, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was any living creature, but that sounds a bit cynical, doesn't it? Can I be a bit Paxman-ish tonight?
Do you have to be that oleaginous?
Oleaginous? I didn't know you could see that. Can you see how oleaginous I'm being, can you? That's disturbing. I've got inner sight.
Well, do you have to be Paxman? Can't you be somebody that people like?
Oh, I see. Oh, that means Kirsty Walk.
See, I would watch University Challenge if the Blessed Bamber was still in charge, but I just cannot get past Jeremy Paxman. I find him utterly repellent.
He's quite repressing, isn't he? Oh, come on! You don't know that?
Yeah,
You're a university undergraduate.
Says the man with the answers on a card in front of him.
Bamber Gascoigne, I think, was more congenial, wasn't he?
You just like Bamber. I mean, would you not like to have a cup of tea and a hot muffin with Bamber Gascoigne?
Yeah, because he's got a relaxed sort of intellectual charm about him, hasn't he?
Yeah, charm being the operative word,
Yeah.
Something singularly lacking in what's-his-face.
Well, he was able to take on Henry Kissinger, wasn't he, I think, Paxman. Why did you bomb Cambodia, he said. Why did you bomb it? Wasn't it illegal? And stuff like that, you know.
Did he get an answer out of Kissinger? I didn't see that interview, but I can almost guarantee you, even not having seen it, I know, he didn't get a straight answer, right?
You mean Kissinger was being the astute politician by avoiding the question?
It's a game between them. Every time an interviewer takes on a politician and throws them a quotes difficult question, it's just a game they're playing. They know they're not going to get an answer. It's just pretense.
But unfortunately, us with the knowledge, it doesn't really give us a sense or an impression that the politicians are truthful, honest, upfront people, does it?
Well, they're not.
Really? Oh, no. What about the European ones? What about the ones in Brussels, in the European Parliament? Do you think they're better?
Yeah, the guys who don't pay any tax. Yeah, they're great. I'm sure they're working really hard for their money. Yeah.
Yeah. All ones from all over Europe that representing our best interests. The reason I'm phoning up is because
that's what we really need, is another level of governance, yeah.
Well, we've got supranational at European Parliament level and European Council level and intergovernmental conference level.
No end of people on expenses, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We've got all their advisors, and then we've got national government level, and then the people in the North East rejected the regional government level, didn't they? But the regional governments are still in place. The unofficial regional governments are still in place, even though John Prescott, God bless his little cotton socks, said, the people of the North East have spoken, and we will listen.
Wow, it was almost like he was in the room there.
Yeah.
It's incredible. What a talent.
I'm not quite so physically challenged in size as he is, I don't think. I don't know how to play croquet either.
It's like, society is like an upside-down pyramid of, it's almost completely opposite to what it actually should be for the benefit of all. In that all of the people that are actually achieving something and paying tax and, going out and working our little nylon cotton mixed socks off are at the bottom, the thin end of the pyramid, being weighed down by all of these, the people who are, our supposedly elders and betters.
Yeah.
Or, as you get older, they're not elder anymore. The shock comes when some people who are running things are actually younger than you are. Frightening. I mean, that, what's his name? The top model that's in the cabinet now. He's 12.
David Miliband?
Yeah.
He's got a brother called Ed.
Actually 12 years old. Can you believe it?
Well, he's got a very young face. But he's come out of Oxford knowing an awful lot about a lot of things and having no experience whatsoever and gone straight into government to tell us all how to live our lives. It's great, isn't it?
Unfortunately, that's the,
At least with Churchill, when Churchill, he went to Harrow, didn't he? He went to Harrow, and then he went into the cavalry, and his dad was upset because he had made it up into the infantry, which was a much, much better form of the military to take. And then he went off to Sudan, and he shot, I shouldn't say this, but he shot foreigners and got very, very famous. And then he shot Welsh miners, and then he shot Turks. And then he got, between the wars, he wasn't very popular. But when the chips were down, he came round and showed us all the way home to victory in Berlin.
And promptly we kicked him out afterwards.
Exactly.
A grateful nation showed him the door.
Yeah, because we wanted a better society.
But I think you hit the nail right in the head there. A career politician should almost by definition be prohibited from being a politician. Wouldn't it be great if we had people who actually have achieved something in life instead of who have managed to climb the greasy pole as their single objective?
Yes.
None of them have actually done anything, have they?
Well, they've used to be on councils, haven't they? Or they've been lecturers in polytechnics in really, really important subjects
important subjects like filling in their expenses claims.
Social media studies, in particular relevant to dysfunctional states in the Near East or something like that. It's very, very important.
Yeah. But I think that is the major problem with politicians in general, is that if someone has only been a politician, that should be a cause for discluding them from being a politician. Am I right? In much the same way that businesses are run by people who have got to the position of inability. Because I've said this before, and this is a commonly experienced phenomenon, that if you're good at a lowly job, you'll get promoted, and then you get promoted again if you're good at that job, and if you're good at that job, you get promoted, and at the point when you're not very good at your job anymore, that's the position in which you'll stick, because you don't get promoted anymore, right? So we end up with a country being run by people who actually are unable to do their jobs.
I know what that's called, Nick.
What's it called?
It's called the Peter Principle.
The what?
The Peter Principle.
Oh, I could go with a hot pocket right now. What do you say? Here, listen, I've got to go because I'm past the break. Cheers, mate. Ta-ra, this is LBC.
I always use my mirror when I'm driving.
So they opened their big mouths, and out came talk. Talk, talk.
So where is Ian then? Do you actually not know, or are you just making it up?
I remember him saying he was going to Kent.
Kent?
Yeah.
How lovely.
I don't know what it's like in Kent. I'm sure it's very, very nice.
Green as far as the eye can see, I bet.
Is it countryside?
Well, some of it is.
Where is it? Is it, like, east? No? You got a blank stare on your face.
Is that what it looks like? Does it look blank? Oh.
Yeah.
I thought I was emoting much more strongly than that. Blank is what it looked like. Oh, well, you got off easy then, I guess. Where's Kent? I'm going to write that one down.
Well, the thing is, if you don't go to these places and you've had no need to, or you've got no friends or relatives in these places, then why should you know where they are?
No, you're quite right. As Carol would say...
That was unnecessarily nasty.
Thanks a lot, dear. Yeah, I was being unnecessarily nasty. Why would anyone in London know where Kent is? Quite right. Good luck on finding your way home, by the way. Clive is in next. Is that correct? Clive is in next. Hallelujah, and everything is right with the world. I'm Nick Abbott, back Friday in this slot. Have a good one. Ta-ta.